Hello, SMITE fans, and welcome back to the Divisional Stars event. We are ready to jump into set number 2 of our first day of play. We already had a 5-game set between the Juggernauts and the Minotaurs, and we still have 2 more teams and 1 more set today to go through, that being with the Manticores and the Titans playing throughout this one. Should be a lot of fun between these 2 teams. Another best of 5, and remember the winner of that of the matchup from just a moment ago, the Minotaurs, and then the winner of this one face off in a winner's final, and then the losers go down to a 3rd place match, which will only be a best of 3. That best of 3 will take place first tomorrow, and then it'll be that best of 5 to close out our day, and then into the draft show, because all these teams are competing for the captain spots of our Roll Stars event kicking off next week, where both the teams that make it to the finals will get to be our captains. The winners will get the first pick in that draft show. Again, all of that happening over the course of tomorrow, and then Roll Stars happening starting Thursday next week. J-Mac, I got Trelly joining me here on the desk to help me out on this, and Trelly, what happened to your nameplate?
Well, we always said Myth would be irresponsible and leave it around. So I was gonna leave it here as a bit, but then I was like, you know what? I'll move it out of sight, out of mind. But you called him out, so it was J-Mac that did it. Everyone, it wasn't me.
I'm going to be honest, I looked over expecting to see it, and I didn't see it, and that's why I was wondering. I was like, what happened to the nameplate in general? Not even what happened to yours, just what happened to the nameplate there. But no, we're moving into our second set of the day here, another best of 5, this time with the Manticores and the Titans. And again, these teams, all stars representing their respective divisions out there. It's an Order versus Chaos in the first set, another Order versus Chaos this time through. And we get to start with our teams over in the Chaos divisions. We have the Manticores as our second Chaos representatives here in Divisional Stars. It'll be Final K, Panatom, Dardes, Awesome Jake, and Vote rounding out the rosters here. So a couple of members of the current Oni Warriors, and I can't even fully say that because Awesome Jake actually moving over to the Camelot King. So what was the Oni Warriors moving into some of our previous events, and then a former Oni Warrior himself in Dardes, and Vote jumping on. Man, this is an Oni Warriors. It's everybody except for Final K has been an Oni Warrior at some point in their career.
Wait, maybe Final K is trying to be on the Oni Warriors. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe this is his way of sneaking his way in.
He's trying to get in good with the rest of the squad now, so he can become the next Oni Warrior.
Well, I'll have to ask him about it at some point because I'm curious. But I think this is a. I mean, all of these squads, right? They're all-star style rosters because they were voted on by the peers, some players of the SPL, and of course the fans at home. So it's gonna be a pretty dynamic-looking team. I'm very curious as to how they decide to play off of hard carries like Panatom, for example. I think having Dardes and Vote on the same team is always going to bode well because those guys have been playing together for, years now at this point. So should be some very exciting stuff. I'm just curious as to how, throwing, like Jake and Panatom, for example, into the mix, how they're able to adapt to that sort of play style and see, I think so far this tournament, 'cause we have a best of 5 under our belts that we got to watch. I will say there was a lot of solo lane and jungle favoritism as far as where they were trying to play the map, the previous teams, that is. So maybe that's something that the Manticores might look to do, or just try to put a stop to that style of play altogether.
Yeah, for sure, at least in the last set, it did feel like the right side of the map was probably the most impactful throughout the majority of the game. Then once the Hunters and the Mages got online, they started doing, well, Hunter and Mage kind of things. So I wonder how Final K kind of meshes alongside Panatom, and what kind of builds do we see going through here, and even some of the picks, because it's been a little silly. We've seen some of the Alpwashes, the Giannis, we've seen Thanatos over into the solo lane, and even during the regular season, Final K always seemed to be cooking up something. He was playing things like the Nike over there with maybe some unusual style of build, so I'm curious to see maybe what Final K is cooking up for that solo lane. Good news is we don't have to wait too long. Maybe he'll give us a little bit of a tidbit in the pregame interview.
That's right, I got Final K standing here, and the first thing I'm going to ask has to do with what they were talking about on the desk. I'd already mentioned this to you, so hopefully it's okay because you already know about it, but everybody on this team either is a current or former Oni Warrior. So are there like future prospects? Are you in talks, or is that's like season 11 talk?
I mean, my agents have reached out, let's just say. The talks are still underway, so we'll see.
Contract negotiations, things like that. Like, can they even afford Final K? 7 figures. That actually does kind of bring me to you being a Golden Bolt winner, several Golden Bolts under your belt, 2-time this year. How does it feel now to also be voted in the same year that you've won those as an all-star for this event?
Feels amazing. I mean, I didn't think I could top 3 Golden Bolts technically, but then I got voted in the all-star match, and I was like, wow, life is good.
And you come in, you get to play with a bunch of people that you don't normally play with, at least in competitive play, right? Maybe you see them in ranked and things like that. Thoughts on your team?
I mean, I'm pretty excited. Only one I'm a little bit iffy on is Jake, because I think I've reported him a few times after some ranked games recently. That guy is criminal enter, but that's what 18 hours ranked will do to you. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm excited to play with all of them, especially Jake, in all seriousness. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
I'm sure everybody's excited to see what you have in store. We just got a 5-game banger, so either you're going to give us something interesting, spicy, 5 games, who knows. The last thing I do have, the prospect winning this one guarantees you as a captain of like a solo lane team, whether that's first or second pick would be determined tomorrow. But how important to you would it be to lead the other solo laners, considering you've definitely been at the forefront of that conversation for years?
I would love to. I mean, we're the defending Roll Star champs, right? We won the last one, and we don't plan on stopping. We're trying to win the next one as well. And I already know who I would first pick, so yeah.
Look, he's already drafted, bro. Like, you know you're ready to win this set. You're ready to win tomorrow. Ready to start first picking. But good luck in your games, man. Thanks for your time. And we'll kick it back to the desk as they break down the next team.
Yeah, that's right. Final K mentioning at the very end there was a former Roll Stars champion. And actually, that does hold some weight coming into this next Roll Stars trailer, because the solo laners do get their first round bye because they'd won the last time through. So both the solo lane teams get to kind of skip that first little moment of play for themselves moving forward, but still have to go through some opposition now. If Final K can get a captain spot, it'd be great for him and the rest of his squad, but still have to go through another team on the opposite end. It's not just the Manticores playing in the set, it is also the Titans having to play themselves out here. And if you kind of get an idea of some of the roster for this team, you look at hi-rez, Scream, Barracuda, all members of the Highland Ravens, and then you got Big Man Tinks and Genetics, Kings players, who are also joining onto this roster here. So I mean, it's going to be quite amounts that these teams have to go through for Final K and the rest of the squad. And even for the Titans now, kind of looking at their team, I kind of wonder where kind of that big pillar for this team lies. Because you look over there, I mean, you look at the dominant, style of the Warriors play, what Panatom's been able to control throughout there. But going up against Panatom, it is going to be Scream over in the jungle world, someone who could probably match that very aggressive style of play. So I'm kind of interested to see what Scream and the rest of this Titans team draft up for this event.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, number one. Number two, I'm kind of curious how BMT plays with a more aggressive style of jungle constantly in his lane, right? I think that Scream is always looking to fight. He always wants to find those 2v2s in mid if he can. And I think Big Man Tinks is a player who could definitely, take some impact from that. So curious if Scream decides to, lean more towards hi-rez because they've played together and they're on the same team, or, takes BMT and says, hey, we're gonna run through this early. We're gonna find a blink, first blood before we even get ults online, that sort of thing. The other thing, Genetics and Barra and duo lane, right? That's gonna be a fun time. I have to imagine it's gonna be. I imagine it's gonna be kind of goofy at first, just because I don't know. I don't know how Barra is gonna react to all the different kind of like shot calls that Genetics comes through. Maybe he'll just have that famous Barra ego that we've heard of, or they'll just mesh together perfectly. I'm not sure. I'm excited to see how they decide to play out over in that lane, though, especially off of each other.
Yeah, I think that meeting of the minds is kind of the part that sticks out the most about this, because, again, you have essentially 2 teams formed up to create this when you have 3 members of the Highland Ravens and then 2 members of the Camelot Kings. Obviously, Genetics and some of the roster shit has moved over away from there, but still has that Camelot Kings essence. Hasn't played yet with his new squad, so we'll still consider him at least a Camelot King in that regard. So having kind of the majority of your shot call between your jungler, your solo lane, once you start getting late game, now meshing with someone you haven't played with before in that support and that mid lane role, essentially Genetics just having that initial mesh with BMT when he rotates over. I think that's maybe where some of the conversation, at least as far as comms goes, towards these squads.
Yep, exactly. I think that's going to be a pretty big contention point, but this team looks to me like they want to get aggressive early, which is what I've been kind of looking towards, especially when you look at the opposition. Panatom's over there as well, Panatom and Dardas. That 2v2 should be having some sparks fly, so not something that the Titans as a whole I think will be too afraid of trying to scrap into, but I'm curious who gets the better end. And again, we already talked to Final K previously. hi-rez has that same sort of style. He's okay with fighting early. He's okay with taking some ganks. So should be some exciting stuff, no doubt, with how much the solo lane has impacted this tournament so far, at least in the first best of 5 we just watched. I'm thinking both junglers and, of course, the solo laners in those lanes are going to have to be playing on point.
I just want to see what all the picks that we're going to see this time is. I mean, we already got Spice in set number 1, some Off-Wash solo, some Thanatos, Giannis solo popped in there, double Hunter, double Assassin style of play. Wonder what we'll get to see in this set, what kind of fun spice and uniqueness we'll get to see pop up here between the Manticores and the Titans. The one thing that was pretty much consistent was nobody's playing Marty. Nobody's allowed to play Marty. Everybody's been banning that one away, so we don't get to see him. Obviously, we don't get to see Charon just yet. He's not available for these ones to play. So I wonder what else kind of breaks out. I think another consistency we also saw was Ganesh was banned away in almost every single game that we had earlier on, except for, I believe, that very last one where he finally was able to make his way through. So I wonder what some of the choices in drafts come for these two teams, Trelly.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Alpoash Solo at a 0% win rate so far?
I gotta be honest, I'm
pretty sure it's at a 0.
I think it is.
So it's about as spicy as milk at the moment. So we can call it spicy, but I'm gonna just call it bad.
So far, it hasn't been doing too well, though. We'll get to see at least maybe how the Titans are feeling coming into this set, because we have Scream standing by for our pregame interview.
That's right. I've got Scream standing by, and I gotta, I guess, start with the same question that I had just asked, not about the Oni Warriors, but about being elected as an All-Star and just how that feels for you.
Yeah, I'm actually not going to answer any of these questions, but I'm actually going to interview you, Gore.
Okay.
I've been curious. You know, I've been on a long break personally. Yeah, I haven't been, or you can have your hands out or like in your pockets. I've been on a long break personally. I haven't been in the studio. So, like, how's life been on the studio?
In the studio, it's been kind of hectic. I mean, like, you can see, like, we've moved some stuff around. There's, like, boxes that are stacked up. It's, like, hectic, but, like, manageable.
Okay, and who are you casting with today?
I'm going to be casting with Mifflin. I'm stuck with him. I make the schedules, so, like, I don't know why I did this to myself, but, you know, it's happening.
Yeah, okay, I don't know if that's meta, but that's fine.
I'm sorry, I went
you know, is there any game plan coming in today? Any strategy maybe for the cast?
You know, like, I really want to, like, focus up, maybe keep it a little loose at first, see, like, where the game takes me. You know, if, like, you guys come out and play, like, super serious, that means I got to buckle down and, like, take it super serious. Definitely want to, like, make sure I don't, like, ruin my voice completely, but, like, maybe throw some hype in there.
So you're kind of gonna follow what we're doing. Like, that's how it's gonna be. Okay. What else do I have? I mean, what is your expectation for the set today?
You know what? After talking to you guys, I hope that it's going to be pretty fun. It feels like that's the energy everybody's coming into it with, but that's really kind of, I get, like, it depends on what y'all bring. You could have straight up lied to me. And you know what? I won't know literally until I'm watching it on the screen.
Who knows? What can I say? Yeah, that'll be it, guys. I mean, thanks for the interview. Thanks, Gore. Thanks for the interview.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And have a good cast.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, Scream, for interviewing Goremizer for our pregame this time. Not often that one of us actually gets to be interviewed by the players. Usually it's always the other way around. So nice little change of pace.
Everyone always asks, who are those guys, but never, how are those guys? So we appreciate you, Scream. Thanks, man.
Now we know how Goremizer is feeling coming into the set. A little bit of a mind behind the caster, if anything. And obviously it's just been shown that, well, Scream and the rest of the players on the field kind of dictate how the cast will also be going as well. So we'll have to see what kind of fun stuff maybe gets picked up. They play a little bit more try hard in the very first game to kind of maybe set the tone of the set, maybe set the tone of the pacing more than anything there. But also a little shot there by Goremizer saying, you know, I make the schedule. Why did I do this to myself? I mean, we're both all casting too, desking too, so I don't know what he's going on about.
But why cast with Mifflin when you could cast with Trelly? That is what Gore was saying.
That's a very true statement.
That's what Gore was saying. I think we all are thinking the same thing. But someone had to bite the bullet this weekend, and in this case, it was Gore. And he, you know what, we appreciate that.
You know, we got a good 5-game set between the two of us. I'd say it's a pretty good start to our weekend so far, Trelly.
Could not complain. And in this case, I think as long as the Manticores and the Titans deliver the caliber of gameplay that we know they could, I imagine that style of play will continue. And I think, you know, we got a peek into the minds as we were watching that previous set. I got to talk to some of these players about how they're feeling about a matchup like this, and I think, you know, as Mifflin said on the desk previously, no one likes to lose, right? No matter how, even if it's you see it as a for-fun tournament in this case, it's not. It's going into a tournament that is going to have money, it's going to have prizing, so you want to make sure that you're on top, you want to make sure you bring your A game, and I imagine both of these teams are still feeling like they're not going to come in here and want to lose on air. That's not fun. You lose with your head held down at that point, so I would not be surprised if they came out swinging, and that same the ban conversation we were talking about, where we don't think Manticores is going to get through. It's unfortunate the Manticores won't get to play their mascot, but I'm thinking that trend is going to continue.
Yeah, I don't see either of these two teams willingly giving up Marty with how strong he has been, not just in competitive, but just in SMITE in general. This guy has really made his presence known kind of across all of SMITE gameplay, so probably unlikely to see him drafted up there, but I think you're right to bring up, you know, especially moving into the Roll Stars event next week, some money on the line for the teams, making sure that you can get the best opportunity to try and win some of that. Remember, the winners of these two sets move into the finals, and the winner of that gets first pick as the captains, and then the losing team gets second pick as the captains there for the finals to be able to draft your rolled star teams. Now it's all 8 SPL teams and the 2 SCC teams that came up from their wins in the gauntlets, all joining in to make 10 total players for each of the roles. They get drafted in to see not just who the best group of players are in a role across the board, but also a secondary tournament that gets played throughout there where you get to see who the best role players are, when you'll have your hunter versus hunter, your mage or your mid versus mid, all the way through for all 5 of the roles, on top of the standard style of elimination bracket that we have going through. So should be a very exciting next week of play, starting up again on Thursday, but still got to get through the remainder of today and tomorrow before we can even get to that point to see who those captains are going to be. And do you think at that point, Shirley, you get that captain spot, you get to pick your team, is there that much more weight on your shoulder as a captain, knowing that you could have drafted the best possible team, but if you lose, you probably didn't draft the best team?
I mean, considering that all of these players, I imagine, want to either A, say their role's the best, or B, say their role's trash so it can receive buffs, it's very important, right? You want to be the guy that is able to draft the best team and say, hey, I had the best gamers on my team and we still solo laners need buffed, or vice versa. So that's kind of the mindset I imagine that's coming through here. But with that being said, you get like a captain who's able to take a very strong pick number 1 or pick number 2, and if you're able to confirm that for yourself, the rest of the draft can be quite serious. So I imagine the difference between first and second seed is still pretty massive. So trying to keep on top, trying to get that first pick, still very important. I'm excited for the Twitter propaganda that's going to come throughout the entirety of Roll Stars, just because every role wants their team on top, and if they aren't, you got to start saying the other ones are OP.
They're OP, or yours just isn't good enough quite
Exactly.
yet. And we did already hear Venenu say that he feels that the mid laners are second worst, only ahead of the hunters. So he doesn't think that those 2 carry roles are probably going to be winning out of that one. So that then leaves the jungle, the support, and the solo lane to kind of then determine maybe who's going to be the best. Because remember, you're not just playing 5 people in the jungle. You're playing 5 junglers or 5 mids in all of the different roles out there. So it's not just who's the best, but who's also the best off-rollers more than anything else. But again, that's a little bit later on. Apologies for the delay. We're getting everything, try to set back up, get these players ready to go into game between the Manticores and the Titans here. A best of 5 between these 2 teams. We should have our picks and bans here very shortly ready for you guys to get through this set. Remember, we already had one full 5-game set between our previous team, the Manticores, the Minotaurs and the Juggernauts. I'm going to mix those up.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. I don't remember if it was you or somebody mentioned at the beginning, they say the Manticore and Minotaur, we're going to get that as a mix-up. God bless whoever's on the finals. For those, if both of those teams make it there, if the Manticores win this one and you have the 2 of them, whoever's on the finals is probably going to mix them up. Even on the desk, I'm probably going to get those ones mixed up as well. Yep,
it's going to be a difficult one, but at the very least, some good gameplay. And I think that tends to be the conversation here, especially with this matchup. So I do think that, considering that picks and bans, we've been waiting. We've been amping it up. They better bring us a little bit, just a little bit of that spice. I don't need to see every pick out of whack, but I do want to see something new and exciting, just because that's kind of what these sort of tournaments provide. Like, you never really think of Thanatos as that great of a solo laner until you saw what Sot was able to do on it. Then Thanatos started getting more picked. Maybe a small bit of a meta is forming here as this matchup starts up.
Well, the good news is, Charlie, we can see what those spices are cooking up for these teams. Picks and bans for game number 1 between the Manticores and the Titans kicks off right here and right now. I think just off of a lot of what we've been saying with these teams out there from what we saw in our first set, Manticores unlikely to see make his way through the picks and the bans. Ganesh has been a hot contest as well for making sure that he is taken out. Yamoja's kind of slipped her way through. So a lot of what we had seen kind of during Masters is still kind of holding its weight here. Even a lot of what we were seeing during the Gauntlet stages as well with the SCC team still kind of bleeding through. And we see some of that reflected in that first ban by the Manticores. We will see the Jormungandr and the Manticores. But the Morgan Le Fay is the one that really sticks out to me. I don't really see BMT as much of a Morgan Le Fay player, but maybe they're just scared of what Scream did a while back whenever he brought that pick into the jungle.
That would be a big callback if that's what this ban is towards, right?
I don't know if that actually is.
I'm not saying that it's not. I do tend to agree that Morgan Le Fay is not in the, as far as my knowledge goes, in the rank scene, and the fact that we haven't seen Pro League for a while. Morgan Le Fay is not in that commanding top 3 position at this point, but hey, maybe they're just fearful of the, I don't have a cool way of saying Morgan Le Fay with Scream's name, so I'm just going to say Scream Morgan Le Fay. In this case, I think the Yorm and the
Scream Le
Emoja.
Fay.
Yeah, I just didn't want to say it. Glad you did, though.
I got your back.
Yeah, the Yorm and the Emoja, par for the course, and of course Sun Wukong and Marty, two of the best top picks available at the moment. So all things so far, besides that Morgan Le Fay, making sense to me. The Titans have their last grab, though. What do they want to try and remove to make sure the Manticores can't grab in that first pick spot? A couple things come to mind. There's been a lot of that jungle presence coming through, but it looks like it's going to be the Aphrodite. They don't want Awesome Jake piloting that pick.
Jake, yeah.
And look at his little smile. He says, yeah, I assumed that one was coming. I'm fine with that.
Says I'm still in their heads.
I
man.
still got
I
it.
still control this meta and the support. So no Aphrodite, no Wukong or Manticores from the Titans. The Manticores say no to Jormungandr, Morgan Le Fay, and Yemoja. So what do we see as a first pick by the Manticores? Ganesh is still up. That was one of the top picks back during the Masters event. Was one of the winning picks for Aurora during his run. Whenever the Ferrymen were able to find their success through. There's a pick that we've seen banned for the majority of today. But still a lot open between these two teams. And only 6 gods banned and, 128 gods that we have in this game at this point. Or 127, one of those two numbers. It's up there. It'll be a hell first pick. Now, we did see some buffs to some of the kind of magic healing support style items. You maybe see that could be one of the reasons why we see maybe a surgence of some of the healer supports again.
If that's the case, good look so far for the Manticores, but immediately answer back the Hebo and the Bastet. A lot of burst damage there. And I'm surprised because I think Bastet is one of those picks that comes into favor, then immediately falls out. Sometimes she's good, sometimes she's useless, and right now seems to be in one of those cases where not that competitively viable unless you're just a Bastet one trick. And Scream has tried to go towards her. I'm not going to lock in this pick towards Scream, despite the fact that Scream loves the Bastet at times. He has also went away from it at times. So far, we got the Hebo and the Bastet. Decent CC. Burst damage, though. Certainly very heavy here in the top 2.
So it's a Hebo Bastet. Where do the Manticores go in response? You got some cleansing from the Hell if you can maybe react to the Bastet ultimate going. Get something from there. But Gilgamesh actually makes his way to the roster for the Manticore. Some small buffs that have come his way as of this last patch to give him a little bit more kick, at least to his scimitar. Can't really say. I was going to say more kick to his kick,
wait
but
a second.
his kick didn't get touched. It was mostly that scimitar that got the little bit of a buff there, but also Medusa receiving some of that extra bonus there. So Manticores drafting up a little bit more of what's been seeing some buffs as of recent.
Yeah, I do like the Gilgamesh just because I think it, as you said, the buffs make it feel a little bit more impactful. It's a decent matchup into the Hebo. Anything that's got a frame-perfect jump that can get away from Crushing Wave, or in this case, the knock-up into Crushing Wave combo, always going to be a decent look. The Xbalanque, though, a pick that I think has been on the rise. That ultimate is always going to be extremely disruptive. His lane clear is fine, but late game, just a crazy good hard carry, especially using the extra range from that ultimate. That can definitely help out, especially if you're getting to 30-plus minutes, like most of these games have been going. I mean, so far, again, hitting the 40-minute mark more often than not. Considering that, though, you got to look towards what's available, and you've got the Hell that could be mid, could be support. You've got that Gilgamesh, which means that the Titans are going to take away the E-set and the Hera, fearing what could be played in the mid lane there for Dardes, whether he takes that Hell and decides to play it himself. I didn't even realize Genetics was mirroring what Jake was doing. I don't even think Jake's noticed.
Says, hey, I gotta fit in with what the old support did, and that way I can slide right into my new roster slot there, at least for Genetics. But it's fun seeing the two supports mirroring each other there. Remember, new support for the Gladiators and Awesome Jake, new support for the Oni Warriors with Genetics. Whenever the full official season starts kicking off. But it was a Xbalanque as a final pick there by the Titans. Hera and Iset banned away by the Titans. Maybe not thinking that this Hell is going mid. Maybe thinking that that one is going to be going over to Jagan's support. Opposite side, though, Manticores do ban away the Horus and the On-Her. We saw a little bit of On-Her today. We also saw a pretty impactful Ao Kuang game from adapting just earlier on. Now the Titans looking to replicate that.
I think that's possible. Haddock's taken the Ao Kuang. The Ao Kuang solo, definitely a pick that I've seen him go to plenty of times in ranked, and I think has a decent matchup into just about everyone in the current meta, especially with the itemization that some of these Ao Kuangs are able to go towards. You can build ability damage, you can build full tank, you can build auto attack, or a little bit of each. And I think that's probably where the Titans will look to go to, like a Glad Shield, Archdruid's Fury, Pridwin build, something like that. For the Alquang can certainly be disastrous, just with the low cooldowns that Alquang is able to spam. With that being said, though, I'd like to see if this Hell is going to be taken by Dardes in mid, or if Awesome Jake wants to grab it for the support role. So far, Gilga Medusa, plenty of damage, plenty of AoE. But it's not really revealed too much magical damage. With the Morgan, that sort of changes things, though. Now you've got plenty of different transformations so far. You could turn into the Gilgamesh. You could turn into the Pele.
Okay.
Or even the Bastet. That's going to be some great damage team fight-wise. Followed with the neat last option. I'm going to say it, J-Mac. We're getting a little bit more spice this game.
We're getting a little silly to start things out here in game number 1. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and take a guess here.
Okay, please do.
That this Pele is actually going to find okay. And the only reason I say that is because I'm subscribed to his YouTube channel. I saw him put up a video of Pele solo where he ran essentially a full tank. And it was
Pele, of course.
pretty disgusting to watch. So I'm going to throw a guess there. The opposite side, I have absolutely no idea. The only one I'm going to firmly guess is Hebo mid. Outside of there, I have absolutely no idea what the Titans are thinking.
All right, listen, J-Mac.
Okay.
We're boys.
Right.
I would like to say first and foremost that because Hebo looks like the most likely mid, it's probably not. That's just,
You're right.
That's just
You're
the way.
so right,
that's just
Shirley.
the way I like to look at it so far. Just because it makes the most sense, I'm gonna lean away from it considering the Titans draft. With that being said, if I have to give promise to one or the other, I think I prefer the team with the Morgan, just because the Morgan, I think, in a matchup like this, always looks better. You have so many different options of what you can transform into, and because of that, it just makes your team fight so different. Whereas the Titans are like, hey, we've got five pseudo carries that are going to be a little bit tanky, and we have like one linear engage. Whereas the Manticores can say, hey, let's transform something different, see if this helps, see if this works. And then they just have more diversity in how they want to get involved. You throw a Gilgamesh into the mix, and now you've got, at the very least, 2 forms of easy engage.
See, what I should have done is I should have looked at the players first before I looked at the full draft for the Titans, because I was woefully wrong. It's not going to be a Hebo in mid.
Good.
This is Big Man Tinks. He's playing Neath. It's Scream. He's playing Bastet. Those make sense now that you look at the names along with the rosters. You did call the Alquang solo. So where does that leave us? Hebo's support for the side of the Titans. And the Manticores, we're going to take Pele solo. So I at least got one of these things right out of all of it. And then the Gil go over into the jungle. How do you kind of feel about the roster now that we've kind of learned where some of these picks are going for the Titans?
All right, close your eyes, and I'm going to describe a character to you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is a support character, all right? He's got decent wave clear. He's got, CC immunity, a knock-up, and a slow.
That's really good.
Yeah, how's that support character?
That sounds pretty good to
There
me.
you go. I just described Hebo. You're welcome.
Oh.
Analyzed.
Oh, no. Wait, hold on. That was Hebo.
You said it was good, man.
Oh, man. I mean, it does all sound really good when you
Yeah.
say all the CC and stuff that he has in his kit. So, you
Yeah.
know what? Maybe the Hebo support will just work for the Tartarus Titan. Or not. Wow, it's not the Tartarus Titans. It's
Tartarus
the Titans.
Titans?
It's the Titans. Not Tartarus' Titans. It's the Titans playing here.
These guys are
Up
scary.
against the man. Yeah, these guys are scary. They're not just from Tartarus. They're the Titans. There is no name for them. This is the origin of Titans at this point. And then going up against them, the Manticores. A bit more standard of a draft outside of, as mentioned, the Pele going to solo lane and the Gilgamesh going in the jungle. That means Hell going to support for Awesome Jake over on this team. Just kind of doing a lot of what Jake was doing all throughout the course of Phase 1. These mage and healer style supports running for his squad.
Yep, and that's what Jake does best, right? I think he's able to keep his team alive so well and also provide a lot of that peel. But on the other side, again, I think when you look at the fact that Pele and Gilgamesh and the Morgan create so much different levels of engage, it just seems a lot easier. Whereas the Titans, they've got some very clutch CC to try and connect on. You know what I'm saying? Like the Bastet ultimate, not always easy to try and land. The Neathul, hard to miss, but on the key target, that's a big difference maker as well. So I think that the Manticores, if they're able to get to like an even point towards the end, maybe towards around these Fire Giant fights later into the game, are going to have a much easier time trying to engage.
So as far as the ease of execution, Manticore is definitely holding their title there, but as far as maybe a little bit more spice in, it is the Titans trying to draft themselves a little bit of fun here. Again, the Hebo support is probably the one weird kind of outlier amongst there. The rest of it, we've seen the Shibalanques, the needs mids, those kinds of things. Scream playing one of his signature picks over the course of his career. And we've seen what Ao Kuang solo can do in the past. I believe Aquarius is one of the first ones to kind of bring that out during last season, at least from recency, and now moving its way over towards here. And as you mentioned, maybe I should ask, is there a preference now that we've seen what the Titans have drafted? Would you prefer to maybe see this Ao Kuang play a bit more burst styled, a bit more mage, or would you rather see it be a little bit tankier?
In this case, I think I prefer a tankier Ao Kuang. It's not the worst thing in the world to go full damage, of course, but it's just a lot easier when you have, looking at these picks, if we already know Hebo is going to be a little bit tanky in this case. Between the Neath, the X-Ball, and the Bastet, I actually think the Ao Kuang would do more damage. If all of them had to build tank, Ao Kuang's going to do the best in that case, because Bastet, I mean, for a while, she was dominating the meta, years ago, probably what, like 2. And then after she got her nerfs, it's like full damage or bust for that pick. If you're building sort of half hybrid, you're not really getting as much damage off as you could. You're not getting as much value out as the kit, whereas Ao Kuang, you've got an execute. You don't have to 100 to 0 someone, you just have to get them to threshold, which is a lot easier to do.
Yeah, being able to get a target of 30% a lot easier sometimes than getting them down to 0 in that case, because all you need is that 30 and then 30 instantly turns to 0 at that point there. So very interested to see how the playstyle of these two teams kind of break down when we see this more tanky style of solo lane from there. We're going to have to hold on to that for just a moment. We're having a couple of issues getting the players in the game. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back for game number 1. Appreciate your patience, everybody. We are just about to jump into game number 1 of our second set of the day here between the Manticores and the Titans, with a couple of small tech issues that we had to resolve during our little downtime of a break there, but still eager and ready to jump into that first game of the set. Remember, a best of 5 between these two teams. See who can make that first impact here in game number 1. We'll throw it over to our casters, Gore and Mifflin.
So much J-Mac it is, as you mentioned, Gore and Miff. So we jump into game 1, Manticores taking on the Titans. And Mifflin, given the drafts that we're seeing here, and more or less what I am expecting. Oh, well, that's not the question I was going to ask, but Manticores, I'll take it and do it. I was going to say, you might get some play-by-play experience in this game,
No,
man.
I'll let you have it, bud.
With this many squishies.
You just asked me the questions after, all right?
Okay, well, 52 of you in chat are leaning towards the Titans here. Man, I'm just saying, there's going to be... I anticipate a lot of kills. Genetics is on Hebo. Jake's a little more boring. He's on Hell. We've seen Hell support, so that's not as maybe enticing, entertaining. Well, entertaining might be there, and it might be here as we go into the jungle. Oh, a little bit of damage towards Jake. Not quite the first blood the Titans wanted. But Mifflin, that's what I'm expecting, and I expect to see it in every single lane.
Jake had the deer in headlights response right there. Turns the corner, sees Genetics running full speed at him, goes, and eventually gets to turn around. Fortunately for him, just tanky enough as of now. Suffering in lane nonetheless, though. Imagine we see this continue for a good long while. What Hebo doesn't have in CC, he makes up for in spades and damage. Should be able to keep that poke rolling. But with Jake on the heels, I don't know. Could keep things interesting.
Well, it's just the question, I think, in a game like this, which combo can get more out there? A lot of damage in mid. Dardes low, so Scream and Tings. Health pots showing their worth right now for the early game. We also get essentially an assassin v assassin over in the solo lane. It feels like the duo lane, though. Unfortunately for Vote and Jake, just cannot catch a break here. Vote, you take a little bit too far forward of a step suddenly.
Vote's for sure top mitigated right now. He's just been hit so much. Damage minute. It's not Vote. Wow. He was second. I guess Final K is just a little too tanky.
Solo lane numbers are just straight up fake, though, half the time.
Agreed.
Right? Because they're just poking each other most of the time. So we'll give it a vote. I'm going to let you have the reward there. The question I have, Hebo, you had mentioned makes up for lack of, let's say, CC, although he has knockups, slows, things like that, in damage. His damage is kind of low early on. Is this like a position... I mean, we're starting to see, after the first couple of levels, like Vote and Jake have stepped further out now than they were ever allowed for the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Hebo's incredibly low cooldowns and high mana sustain thanks to Eye of the Jungle should allow him to poke pretty consistently and make plays like this, steal away these camps.
Uh-oh.
Might be in some trouble, but they're not passed together, and even if Vote connects with that dash there, wouldn't have been enough CC to get Jake involved. So there will come a point where Genetics is going to suffer because he is an incredibly squishy Hebo.
Yeah.
Maybe not, though, if he's just going to do this. This might be optimal. This might just straight up be optimal play. He's taking everything.
So that's actually the question I was going to ask. Not only is he stealing everything, I was going to ask, as a jungler, how... Man, this is so multifaceted, because it's not like he's taken from his own jungle. He's not double jungling on one side and stripping farm away. How do you feel about seeing what could potentially be kind of a secondary jungle? I mean, he's already gone Eye of the Jungle. He seems to want to spend that time invading as much as possible.
Yeah, it's going to be very frustrating to be a jungler against something like that, just because there is now half of the map that you know is going to have constant pressure on your camps. The way to control that is to get on top of rotations, get that first wave back. But because Genetics has already taken the speed, he takes away the backs, he's got those timers. Now you don't know exactly when those camps are coming back up, but you do know that he's going to be there on rotation in the future. So step number one as jungler against that is probably get a ward on either your back camps or your speed buff. If you get timer on one, you'll generally be able to suss out the timer on the other. And then you need to be there, and you need allies to be there, and you need to punish Genetics for being there.
Yeah.
Then things start to line up a little bit, especially if Genetics elects to just keep going down this damage tree. It's all damage in the build so far. Until he gets some defense, he's just an easy guy to take down.
honestly, until he gets some defense, I'm not sure that we're going to see any defense. And that's kind of where I'm at. I think we're going to see very aggressive genetics throughout a majority of this one. And it's just a question of the answer back. Right now, Panatom doesn't seem to be any the wiser about a lot of those invades, but it does lead to this kind of balancing point, which is that Barra's left alone. Damage from FineOK right now, and Solo, good with the auto! Oh, just a little bit late there to get the kill. Haddox able to create enough space and get away. Panatom, as I just noticed, backed after seeing the speed buff taken away on the left-hand side of the map. So some small wins, most of them coming up Titans. Haddox escaping, being first blooded. Invade successful from Genetics. Now they're going for a little more. Neath ult knock up, everything in terms of damage going towards Jake, and Scream is going to make sure to shut him down as early as possible. First blood over to him. Now Genetics has to play it safe. Dash connects from Vote. Does he have the damage? The cooldowns? No! And so it goes 1-1. Manticores tie it up.
Good rotation from Panatom to ease up some of the losses there. Looked to me like Genetics maybe missed Crushing Wave, which forces Scream to use that leap aggressively. Had he just connected that, likely would have been able to get out of dodge a bit sooner. Scream would have had the leap to keep himself safe as well. But has to dedicate it, gets dropped a little bit too low, so Scream can't stick around to keep the fight going, and Genetics is left alone on an island. And an island surrounded by a sandstorm, probably not exactly where you want to be. Panatom very easily able to knock him down. Keep my eyes on some of these relics. I'm surprised about this. Haddox going towards beads in first slot is interesting, in that I don't think you're overly concerned about the direct CC of FineOK. Maybe you are worried about dropkick from Panatom, but feels like teleport probably goes a long way here, especially considering the poke potential of Pyroclast from the Pele. Could make things very difficult in lane.
Man, Genetics. Well, he's already on the right side of the map in the jungle. He's roaming. That's got to be dangerous to deal with if you're the Titans. I'll be honest, I'm a little surprised. Not necessarily at the... Well, I guess it is the pace of the game. That is what is catching me by surprise, right? We've seen a lot of invades. We might be seeing another one here. Haddox kicked against the wall. A little bit of damage is there. Beats still available. Has to use them here. Tries to get away, but just cannot escape the damage. The Pele chase down is on point. Gets the kill with a massive rotation from the Manticores. And that's what I was expecting more of, Mifflin. I've been expecting kills, kills, kills. And it seems like the Manticores and the Titans are starting to step up to what might be meeting those expectations.
Man, my eyes are glued to Genetics right now. I don't think anyone spotted him just yet. Will have done so now, and he's stuck in place.
But he stole the buff. So he got one thing. Does not have... Oh, does have the ult. Can't do anything about it. Threw the hands up. Unfortunately, takes a tumble there. But he stole purple, so you have to draw a silver lining somewhere for him.
Big win for Genetics.
Yeah, purple buff versus your life. As a Hebo, though, and we were talking about damage, and maybe we'll have to hold that thought, because FineOK body block against the wall, and good luck getting out of there. A third one on the board. Titans 2. Up. And a clean kill, Mifflin. I mean, that's just bullying.
Yeah, stick him up against the wall, get a Neath ult coming in too. Big man Tings getting involved and getting an assist for himself, the second of the game so far. 100% kill participation without actually participating himself. Those are both just global presence from the Neath. And that's something Haddox really desperately needed. He was falling behind slightly in the lane, had fallen down just the once there up against FineOK, but now has equalized himself pretty well and in a much better position.
Genetics, unsurprising, aggressive. Unfortunately for him, it's also the third death in a row. FineOK finds that one. And I'll be honest, that one was pretty straightforward. It was just Assassin versus a level 6 Hebo. Pretty clean overall, considering the 3-level gap. The other thing I was going to mention to you and ask about before... I was going to say before we saw some action. Thank God. Tings, Scream, disengage to give us a moment. Is that Genetics didn't finish his tier 1, or I guess his first item into a tier 3, and instead has just kind of started up another one. And so I was wondering, overall, how you feel about that build for a support Hebo. Maybe we'll get into that in a second. Jake forced to cleanse. Damage is there. Not the chase down, though. Has just enough healing, just enough cleanse, just enough disengage to get away.
So how do I feel about restored artifact tier 1 earring? It's a lot of MP5 when he's in the jungle. I mean, it's a permanent blue buff so long as he's in the jungle, thanks to the eye of the jungle as well as that earring. It's a little bit of power. Is it like the best thing ever? Probably not. Is he going to finish the earring? I would be surprised. I could not tell you, Gore. He just wants to spam abilities.
And you know what? He's doing it. Unfortunately for him, that does mean he's now 0-4. Mifflin sometimes is a Hebo. You know, we talk about it. You get to late game, you got the damage.
It's a Chronos Pendant Hebo. First slot, Chronos Pendant.
That can be dangerous. As a
yeah,
support,
man. Those yellow rivers are going to be atlasing prominently.
I'm just saying, look, Warrior supports and buying Chronos Pendant go hand in hand.
Yes.
This is just him adapting to the new role.
You know,
the new team.
look, I've heard a lot about the Chronos Pendant in first slot, okay? For the Warrior supports. And so often the conversation has been, please stop doing it. And those Warrior supports have made moves, okay? So
I'm just saying, undefeated.
You think he's doing like a Jake
end.
cosplay, like on purpose? He's like, I'm just going to do the Jake stuff.
Well, we'll find out. If he is, there's maybe some nuanced meta to it. Vote, by the way. Dead, killed off, Neathult, plus a whole heap of other things thrown towards him to get the damage out there. Panatom picked up, pulled back, damage good, and surely another kill. Barra, unfortunately, CC'd, unable to get the autos necessary. Instead, it's Dardes, and then one stray auto from Genetics. Takes that goose egg, turns it into a 1. Fine, okay, looking to try and balance things out for his team. Unfortunately, unable to find that kill. And then Mifflin, the Titans, keep the aggression going in the jungle. So we now have 9 kills, 10 minutes.
It's Frostbound Hammer, Pele solo against Glad Shield Aokwang. We're in the Wild West.
Yeah, is this anything you expected today?
Oh, man. No. No, yes and no. I expected the unexpected, right?
Yeah.
But how could you? You know, how could I lock down exactly what that means? I'm glad they're getting up to something. Archdruid's Fury as well. We're making money moves here. What needs to change? Let's take account of the landscape, the landscape of this match as it stands. We're about a 1,000 separation. Titans holding onto that lead in spite of Genetics going full into mode over the last 11 minutes at 1-4. Where do the leads reside? It's got to be mid. Mid's probably doing okay. Big Man Ting's in a decent spot. Scream's got a slight advantage over his opponent as well. ABC in a decent position because Jake, for the most part, has been hanging out in lane, absorbing some of Vote's farm. Where do you go? What do you do? Core, I don't know. I'm lost. I'm adrift in a sea of confusion. I'm getting anxious.
Well, so what I'm trying to do, if I'm being completely open and honest, is J-Mac had mentioned a recent video from Fine OK where he had played the
Are you going to pull up the build?
So I was going to see what his late game build had been.
It can't be this, right?
He did start with the Frostbound Hammer. I skipped too late in the video, so now I have like what he sold his starter for as a Soul Eater.
Spoilers.
Looks like he got a Phalanx. He did get the cloak there eventually.
So you're telling me this is real?
I'm telling you he's done it in ranked. Okay. I don't know if I would go as far as to say it's real, but this is a theory crafted and executed in the past by Fine OK.
He's cooked before, but maybe not in this kitchen.
Yeah, we'll see if it continues working out. Good crushing wave, good damage, good execute. Dardes taken off the board. Fine OK's rotated in. Scream seems to be isolated.
That's
now
big.
Haddock's going to jump in, join him. A lot of damage, but not enough to save his jungler. Haddock's unable to find the kill onto Panatom. Separation between the teams seems to be there. Barra, meanwhile, capturing the beacon. Keeps things going for the Titans. Votes rotated in 4v4.
Hit everybody.
2 deaths on the board. Genetics is just gone, man. Deleted. And it's now a surge forward from the Manticores. The point. Slow pickings, but still theirs to control. No ults for the Titans, but Presence still here. Haddix throwing out Poke, trying to get whatever he can. Barra throwing out autos, has some poison.
Oh, they're hurt.
And this is where the balance factor, this is where the drafts can come to work. Panatom, beautiful leap over the wall, gets him to safety. Fine OK rotates in, damage on Barra is good enough, and it gets him out as well. Manticores capture the beacon point. Well, assuming somebody gets back on it. And they're going to take the first one of the game.
I'd argue the Titans won that fight maybe 5 times. But unfortunately for them, I'm going to run down the builds real quick. I'm not seeing any anti-heal just yet. And Genetics is dead once more. 20-second respawn, though. It's okay. When you put up 6 deaths in 13 minutes, it means you'll have time to respawn quickly.
Don't worry, guys. I'll be back on the field, I promise.
First things first, we're going to want an Ong. Maybe a Divine Ruin. Something along those lines. Brawler Beat Stick. Bastet's one of the better applicators of some of that anti-heal. Let's get some of that going. Start putting the kibosh to Awesome Jake just spamming abilities on the light stance. Yeah. Maybe your kills will start sticking.
Well, so here's the question I have for you as someone who was hearing accusations, not providing them, hearing them.
Yeah, I hear.
Earlier. Now, again, you were on the line. The Morse code was coming in.
Yep.
Are there any of those being levied towards Jake playing a hell support in a game like this?
Yeah, so...
Like a healer? Really?
The grapevine is saying that is a bit of a not cool move by Jake. But...
It was really weird. I've never heard uncool dude in Morse code until today.
Yeah. This is, I had to look it up in Urban Dictionary. It's actually dot space 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 dot slash. Is it okay? Is this a cool guy move? Can he make it a cool guy move? Can we transition it into perhaps a swag play here by Jake? No. We're sensing insecurity in the hell selection.
That's like some armchair philosophy, right? You know.
No, that's. I'm just telling you what's going down.
That's just what's going
down.
down.
That's not me. Far be it from me to pass judgment.
Yeah, unattached to you. No opinions whatsoever.
Truly journalistic intent. I am just getting it out there.
Yeah, what you've heard and reporting it for the good of the people out there in chat listening on. Speaking of the good of the people out there in chat, 15 minutes in, Pyromancer started. Good thing about teams like this, they burn objectives and they burn them fast. Manticores get themselves the Pyro, though not without try and
Genetics
error
is dead,
from
right?
the Titans. Genetics 1 and 6. Crushing wave to get away.
That's big.
Is going to keep it at that KDA. Barra split pushing. So it's
classic.
Pyro, 4. Well, I guess Pyro and the Fury, all for that tier 1 over and left in terms of where gold is at. And Mifflin a second ago was super even. Now it's starting to skew only like 1,100 in favor of the Manticores. And we've talked about it a lot with the meta, the way it is, the map, the way it is. We might still get to see Genetics hit a full build late game anyway.
We might. Do you think it's Prophetic Cloak in this slot? I mean, he's fighting
he's going to
a lot.
be damaging a lot of people. He's just throwing those abilities out there.
He is certainly landing his shots. Whether or not he's going to be able to stack it up fast enough, he is still going to be very squishy for a very long time. He's not even that far behind, though. Can I get a look at gold net worth? Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, well, he is the whole deficit. It's him.
It's him. But also...
But it's not that much, guys.
As alleged by, anonymous sources.
Yeah, he's definitely winning the cool guy battle. Like, if it's a battle of, like, who cares more, like, Genetics is giving off, like, big, not bothered energy.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised he doesn't have sunglasses on and is leaning back. Barra, right now, in a little bit of trouble. Needs some help. Genetics is over here. Crushing wave, gets some damage. Neathult was good. Aegis goes hard for Barra. Just not quite enough to keep him alive. Genetics gets out of there. Scream in the zone. Missed the ult. So the Titans have to fall back. 10-5, Manticores with a controlling lead 17 minutes in.
I'm just imagining Barracuda, and if you know anything about Barracuda, he's a very chill dude. He'll never levy an accusation against you. He's never going to say an ill word. But I can only imagine just like very passively to Genetics, he's like, man, where were you? Jake's like, I'm there. I was helping you. He's like, right. 200 damage ultimate. Right. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, Jake made him CC immune and gave everybody additional movement speed and healed them. And he also hit me for 200.
Yeah,
but
then Genetics is like, yeah, but I got the cool guy points.
But can you tell how cool I am? Yeah, things are going to get worse for Genetics before they get better. And here's the thing about how SMITE's a team game. If it gets worse for any one of your links, it's getting worse for everybody. Genetics is very rapidly approaching non-factor territory. That Hebo was hitting early because just
Hebo.
base numbers are real good.
And he had a Chronos pen.
And he had a Chronos Pendant, so he was scaling quickly. And then he completely ceased all scaling to go for Prophetic Cloak, and he stacked it twice. We're 18 minutes in.
And you know what? We need a timer. This might be, depending.
He's not finishing this before the game ends.
He's not going to finish it.
No,
is
he's
what
not.
Well, that's because you think, I presume, that the game is going to end for the Manticores.
I think the game could end at the 40-minute mark, and he's not going to have finished it.
Oh.
Yeah.
We'll start the timer anyway. We'll find out. This beacon, that fight, much less spice than the last one. Manticores just step up. They've got it 5 in mid. Meanwhile, they've got 2 for the Titans in right, looking for a potential split push. The Bastet and the Ao Kwang. Got the minion wave with them. Should be a pretty easy position, and it's forcing some backs. Fury started up by the Manticores.
Oh, this is so smart.
That's going to balance it. And the Fire Giant started up. 19 minutes. Look, Fire Giant is just more difficult right now to deal with.
Yeah, but they got the type advantage. Genetics was playing around this so long ago. Fire Giants?
He's the water god.
That's right. Oh my god, they're going to do it.
They actually got it. I was waiting for a steal. Felt like it was going to happen, but it's not.
They're like healthy. They could kill Panatom.
Titans get Fire Giant. Panatom won't die. Didn't catch the name, but someone just wins
He is
10,000 gems. A Scream jumps in and wins his team a kill. 4v5. Have to be careful. Darda's already low. Execute thresholds there, but it's not going to be picked up. Barra trying to stay safe. Not able to do so here. Darda's traded out, and it's back and forth.
Oh, let him cook.
For 2. Duo lane on the Titans gone. Low health bars for the Manticores, but the healing's working a little bit. Just not quite enough. Vote goes down double for Haddix. Chase is on. Fine, okay, full health. Jake healing up, using the move speed to disengage. Screams looking for the close gap. Tings, Haddix, in tow. Try and get there.
They'll get him, right?
Slows are good from Jake.
Ting's ult's coming up before too long.
That CC has to be good.
Oh,
they
they
don't have
gave
the
up.
vision anymore. And Mifflin, they're going to leave him be.
Yeah, I think letting Jake go is probably not the biggest deal, right? He had already survived for so long that the rest of the team was going to be on respawn by the time he had knocked him down, so it wouldn't even desync the deaths that much or get you that much on map. At the end of the day, though, the Manticores do knock Fire Giant off 2 members of the Titans. Panatom goes in 1v4, and every one of the 4 was stricken by fear. Insane that anybody returned damage. I think it was like when a squid inks. Maybe some of the ink got in someone's eye, and that's what knocks Panatom down. But afterward, the 4-man core, the Manticores, rejoin the Titans and catch out 2. Knocking Fire Giant off Barracuda was the most important thing they could have done. Now the siege potential, much lower than it would have been previously, might even just be enough to prevent that Fire Giant siege from even happening. This could just be a status quo maintainer. You can't do fire because we already did.
Pressure onto the. I'm wondering where they would go with it. Tier 2 on right. Right has already been.
Yeah, there's
tickled
3 tier
down a
2s to
little
pick
bit.
from.
Yeah, but right's already weakened.
Yeah.
Left is just more valuable. All of the waves are pushed up though. Not a lot you can do with it.
Genetics has 3 stacks now and is still.
Man, I was really hoping that I was going to see that number go up real quick. If I'm honest with you, I thought it was going to skyrocket.
It's only been 3 minutes. That's
Wow,
a,
it really only has.
yeah, that's a stack every 3 minutes.
He's, well, just a little under 3 levels down too.
Not a big deal.
Now, how do you? I want to. We're going to deep dive analysis into this. How do you feel about, like, the beginning? It feels like, okay, second jungler. Then you got the earring. You kind of mentioned that you were surprised by the
He's gonna
earring.
have so much mana.
Then you got the prophetic cloak, which you had said slowed the scaling down. Now he's going back to damage.
Yeah.
Do we like the new path?
So if we're having a very real discussion about how Smite works and like the progression of a match, defense from behind
Yeah.
is much less valuable.
Yeah.
Because you're
I think
already
you've
not as
gone on record saying that a
survivability.
lot.
Your survivability is already going to be lower than the tanks on the other side. So you want to have the comeback mechanic. How do I do it? If I'm going to die fast, I might as well deal my damage. So getting more damage is correct. I'm thinking he could like probably have done it a little bit sooner. Did it need to be a prophetic cloak in that slot? Probably not. Is the mystical earring, was that mana really necessary? No, he was never alive long enough to go boom while he was actually benefiting from that. But is it a good direction to take the game for Genetics? Yes. If he gets one more damage on him after that one, he's a threat now.
And you know what? That's balance, baby.
That is.
That's where we need to see him go. 175 right now. There's definitely, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, this is probably going to happen sometime this set. There's room for a joke where I say, do you think the Warriors got an upgrade? I'm going to hold on to that one. That's going to stay in the pocket for a little while. I just want you to be aware of it. I want Chad to be aware of it.
That's a real Dave Chappelle move of you. Like, give me the punchline early.
Yeah. And but then when it hits, it's going to hit.
It has
Hopefully.
to.
It better. Man, it's going to really suck if he has some great games after this. 6-1 right now for Fine OK. Tier 2's getting knocked down. Fury goes the other way towards the Manticores. 23.5 minutes in.
We got the anti-heal now. Brawlers, Divine Ruin, we're there.
But do you like where it's at? Like where it's been placed? The Brawlers, you had said Scream's a good applicator.
Yeah.
He's not the one who got it. Divine Ruin, I guess realistically there was only really one guy who was gonna get it, and that was Genetics, so I don't know where else it would have gone. Maybe
Fine
Fine
OK.
OK. Or sorry, Addicts.
Yeah, could only have been Addicts on this team. Yeah, I think I would have still preferred to see Brawlers on Scream, but Knees got it. Oh, that's so sick. Dardes used the clone to block the Neath ult.
That was so cool.
That's so cool.
I don't care how this fight goes, man. He just got all the cool points. It doesn't matter what Genetics was doing earlier.
Dardes is winning the cool guy battle.
He wasn't even in the competition before. He just came in and top roped him. Like it was nothing. Speaking of top roped, this Beacon fight, nothing to be said. From the Titans.
So much fear stricken in the heart of Big Man Tings when he's like, yo, it didn't hit him. They just left, bro. The Titans had the Beacon almost fully under wraps. They're like, nah, it's good. Okay, that's another stack. Is that 4 now?
Yeah. Man, you weren't kidding.
Man, supports are not looking good for All-Stars. Not a great
Whoa,
start.
hey, whoa, look, Jake's 0-1 and 10, dude. He's
Yeah,
got all
you're right,
these assists.
you're right.
He's been hitting some sick cleanses. You know, cool guy points aside, the support part, he's been doing
If I'm
great.
Jake right now, I'm literally like in my Twitter DMs like, yeah, well, at least he isn't jumping. That's awful. Fire Giant pull.
Fire Giant started up, this time not by the Titans, Manticore. They're going to start up not only DPS, but some zoning from Fine OK and Panatom. Trying to get the job done. It's only Vote that's standing on it right now, which to me means they're looking for the fight. Dardes, Invis, caught out by a straight auto-stunned by Haddix. There's going to be the ult as well. It's got to be unfortunate. That's 2 ults Tings is thrown towards Dardes. One gets CC immune to the other one.
Aegis.
Unfortunately, is going to just get, ignored completely. Plus that clone. Fire Giant getting low, though. Titans step into the pit. Titans take it away. And then they're just going to walk away, Mifflin. We've been talking about the fear that has been stricken into their hearts. This time it is power. The Fire Giant on their belt. They go to mid where the Titans are clashing there and kill off the Order Titan easily. Force the Manticores back to defend.
Working on the Pyromancer all the while, so a little bit more global gold. Get a runic bomb in pocket. Drop that keg on a tier 2 to go pretty quick. Catching a pick here would be so important for the Titans. You just remove Jake from the map and things get so much easier. This tier 2 is going to be a soft defense. No way the Manticores stick around.
Well, they're hanging out. For a second there, I thought the Panatom was going to jump in. Instead, they play it safe. The Titans use their Titan. Knock down tier 2.
Still
It's
on
going to
4
fall.
stacks.
And go back. Oh. Yeah, still on 4 stacks. And I'm looking at where Genetics is. It's not
You
going
look
up
so
anytime
deflated.
soon.
You really thought he was going to stack it up.
I was hoping that look, he was hitting so many abilities. I thought it was like a guarantee. He was just going to keep doing that.
He got Pavlov's dog out of it, man. He's like, I hit my ability. I died 8 times.
Yeah. And admittedly,
Every
that's kind of a
stack
good.
he's gotten has cost him a life.
That's a good Pavlovian response, right? Like, hey, this put me in danger and harmed me. That you should stop doing that thing.
Yeah, I mean, we developed that as a
that's
long
like
time. That's the Neanderthal
species
response, like
growth.
fire hot. You
Yeah.
know, like we get it. He'll get a 5th stack, Gore. Don't worry.
No, you know what? It's just like he's not gonna finish it.
Earring gone. Right back to Sav. The damage was not doing it. We gotta get that takiness somewhere. It's not coming from the prophetic cloak. We're going to get sovereignty. Guys, group on me. I got the auras.
The builds from the carries aren't really too crazy. I mean, I guess the Neath build maybe stands out above all else. Barrett's gone for a dominance. Maybe they can use some of that. Groupings in the left side jungle, 28 minutes, 13-8. Manticores with the kill lead, Titans with the gold lead. It's only about 1,600, 1,500, not too much in their favor. The Fury potentially on the horizon to push that forward for them. Instead, no, they're going to just ignore it. Get aggressive, look for a pick. Fire Giant still available for him for a minute and a half.
That is the most pathetic interaction between an Alquang and a Pele I've ever seen.
Slapping with wet paper. Panatom rooted, and the damage seems to be good. Haddix jumps forward, goes for the execute, just the damage. That's all you need. Barra unfortunately traded out Genetics. Did get a 5th stack. Unfortunately, it did cost him his life one more time. It's also cost the life of the mid lane, and maybe more. Haddix
This guy's tanky.
is trying to stay alive. The tankiness is helping. Knock up good from the ult, but it's just buying time. Manticores, 4-man swipe.
Is that game?
And they're going to take the tier 2 down. Scream isn't backing. It's definitely Phoenix.
I don't know.
We'll
They
have
have
to
a
see where he
lot of
goes.
time, Gore. And Wave?
How tanky is the Titan with 2 tier 2s and 2 Phoenixes up? Maybe the question
Oh,
we're
that
about to
might
find
just
the
be
answer
Scream's
to.
life.
Scream has damage on Define. Okay. Damage onto Dardes. Dardes invis.
Oh,
And killed off!
oh,
What
no.
a great shot from Scream to find that one, and it might
He
just
saved
save
it.
this. He's killing off Jake. It's a double for the jungler. Fine, okay. Next on the chopping block needs this kill. If you're Screaming, he's gonna find it 3 in a row, and you just can't end against this guy.
Look, if you've been watching Scream's stream recently, you'll know that this the Scream name was not what he was yesterday.
No.
It was God, King, Emperor, 5
And he
M's.
earned it.
He earned that title. That was bestowed upon him, his divine right. A triple kill to save the game for
Oh my
himself.
God.
4-1-7. He's got nearly 100% kill participation. Scream's doing as much as he can. Unfortunately, his support's still on 5 stacks prophetic, so how much can he do? Not a whole lot. The Manticores have broken the base now, the Titans, exposing a win condition for themselves. It's not the most valuable Phoenix, but finding anything going to be pretty useful.
At this point, Mifflin, I mean, we're getting the most bizarrely even game that you could have 30 minutes in. Phoenix down, but you still have 2 towers.
I'm with you.
No towers, but 3 Phoenixes still standing. Fire Giant is going to be enhanced next time. Pyromancer picked up by the Titans. Runic Bomb, there it is, scooped up by Haddix. 2 in the pocket and 2 set up. So Mifflin, it comes down to this. Fire Giant fight, 5-on-5, given the builds where they're at. Hopefully they'll give us a little bit of time. Jake gets picked off. No, if Haddix gets picked off, that could be massive, but he's tanky. We saw that earlier. And that will give us the time. And a 5-on-5, 5 stacks for Genetics. All the 5s lining up. Who's got to fight in the Fire Giant pit? We'll find out before you can answer it. Damage and aggression from the Manticores, led by Jake, but the damage getting turned around. They need to get rid of the hell. There's the stun. Clin's good. Scream. Chase is on. Root the damage. You got the last hit. And it's Haddix who finally takes care of the support. Fire Giant pit in control of the Titans now. Dardes, half health, forced to run away. Panatom in a similar situation. And it doesn't seem like the Titans want the EFG. They want a little bit more than that. Kill onto Fino K. Haddix finds it and stays alive. Vote's gone as well. 3 for the Manticores. None on the Titans. Fire Giants free and enhanced.
Manticore is just too split up on that engagement. Jake so far forward, gets poked down. On full retreat, can't really put any damage in. Panatom tries his best to peel, but not a whole lot he could have done about it. And from there, even Vote with a 4-man ultimate on that Medusa. Not quite able to keep his allies alive. So piecemeal, the Titans take apart the Manticore, grab Fire Giant for all 5. But perhaps the most miraculous moment in all of that is that Genetics finds himself a stack without
Didn't
trading
die.
a life. That's right.
6 stacks. And you were pretty much spot on so far. We're nearing game end scenario for some of these teams.
Not
Doesn't
going for the
seem
mid Phoenix.
like the Titans are going to push even further. They've got 2 carries as well. It just doesn't seem like they feel confident, maybe.
2 dead for 15. You had eyes on left side there. You know the best response would have been 2 members from the Manticores. I think that's maybe a missed opportunity. We'll have to get that in VOD review. Maybe talk to their coach later.
Yeah. He's got to be careful. Titans rough season all year. I mean, look there. 1-23. Who do you blame?
That's awful. Man, what is their coach doing?
Yeah. How dare you, Titans coach, lead them into a position like this?
What? Who in the SMITE community could we even attribute a coach position like this? This would be like a Hazer moment. Like Hazer would be the coach
Hazer
for this
would
team.
be a sick all-star coach to have for anybody.
No, Hazer was an amazing coach, but like I'm talking like current Hazer, current timeline Hazer.
And like I want him like the same way he would be on his stream at this point.
Yep.
Which I guess in some instances would also mean probably in a God cosplay. There's a chance that that would
perhaps
happen.
even a hot tub has come into play as well.
There's a lot of stuff. Y'all should check out Hazer when you have the opportunity.
Yeah, he's content thieving us
make
right
sure
now,
that you
so.
make sure you keep our stream open though. Those numbers mean a lot to me. As we get set up for a Phoenix siege from the Titans, damage onto the left side Phoenix. Now that you've seen how quickly they can fall, it does raise the question about that mid Phoenix. Fine, okay, it's taking a lot of damage. Haddix does not seem to care. And it should be the aggression here. Now, Mifflin, this is something we don't get to talk about too often. 34 minutes in, when you have no Guardians on the table, how do defenses work?
Well, there's a lot of damage at play, that's for sure. More because you're lacking the Guardian.
So your goal is to like just kill them faster than they can kill you.
Is what I would say normally, but some of the damage dealers are just so tanky is the thing. Like the Pele and the Alquang and the Hebo, I guess.
Well, no, the list. No, you can.
Yeah, the list ended
the
hell
already.
And we're done. Okay.
Well, we'll see how it works out. Haddix goes in, aforementioned tanky enough to get some poke out and fall back. Dardes jumps forward as a Gilgamesh transformation.
Look
There's
at
a
him
crushing
go!
wave. The Aegis is good.
It's his time!
And Genetics gets locked down, but he turned all eyes towards him, and that's the mid Phoenix for the Titans. Screams low, but it does not matter. Team keeps him safe. Haddix with 1 kill. Barra with an aggressive dash. Looks for a little more, and is gonna find just what he needs. No Panatom.
Did he crit?
Finds
No.
a double on the defense, and it's the duo lane killed off by the jungler for the Manticores. But 3 Phoenixes gone
We got
for the
5
Order
Ms.
team.
Scream, right-hand side. There's some low targets here. Leap Claws would do it. There's Leap.
Oh.
There's ult.
Oh.
Claws unneeded. Nothing connects. God King Emperor. Maybe just God King now.
Yeah,
We're going to take one
You got
each time.
demoted. For everything you miss, you lose 1 title. Or 1 imp.
Dude, what? Like Puss in Boots style? Like his 9 lives are his 5 Ms?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he's down. Well, I guess in that case, should we go like literal? Every death he loses an imp?
Dude, that would be so cool, actually. I'm going to go talk to our producers, but I don't think that's possible.
No, that's just his in-game name that's on the screen.
Yeah, but like, we're hi-rez. It's hi-rez, baby.
I am not an encyclopedia for all of the dev commands. I don't know what we have the power to do and what we don't have the power to do. I assume like change name is probably in there.
It's got to be.
But I don't know if it forcibly would update.
Why would it be?
game
It
up.
might not be. Like, there's no reason.
Yeah, there's really no reason because you can just give yourself a bunch of gems on like your dev account and then change your dev name.
And would we
And that's
have
the
to
only
give
reason that you would
Scream
have to do it.
Dev to like change his name himself? He can't be trusted. Oh, it's trapped against the wall by the cat.
Could have been a big play. Crushing wave wide away from where it was trying to hit. And unfortunately, it's now resulted in 3
Oh, no.
deaths in the blink of an eye. The Titans just gone. Haddix trying to fight as much as he can.
Oh,
Teams
no.
is away. And now it is the Alquang versus the world. He's been tanky.
Did they
He's
lose?
got an execute, but what can he do with it? If this fight goes awry, it might just be over. He's gone. And now the Manticores run it down mid-run with your damage. 3 Phoenixes down does not matter. With 40 seconds on the clock, assuredly, they have to win this one.
The Titans, they had all the momentum. All 3 Phoenixes down. All they had to do, Gore, was stay grouped as 5. But when God King Emperor Sprack sees something coming, he's going to do it himself, even if it isn't always going to work out for him. And once more, lose out one by one. It's the Manticores that win game 1.
Yeah. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Game 1 from behind for the Manticores. Smiles, as they should be, because they win.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Look, it is a
Solid
best of 5.
call right
it's a
there.
best,
It's a best
of
of
5.
five. That's just point one.
There's some time to bounce back, and I think, although maybe we gotta put the coach there on fraud watch, there will be some easy adaptations that you could immediately go towards. Does genetics go back to the Hebo? No. Does he pick up prophetic cloak if he does? Probably not. You just won the game. I saw it for you.
Well, so those are the changes you want to see, or are those predictions, which you kind of presented them one way. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yes.
both.
Both is what we're getting here. Look. No, yeah, you're just right. I was trying to think of like some saving grace. That probably solves a lot of those issues. Crushing Wave, if it had connected at the end, might have been pretty nice as
Maybe.
well. The damage
hit
there.
for like 300.
Titans just, yeah, good point. So maybe it wouldn't have. Titans, unfortunately, fall apart in literally the moment of need. The one moment where they could have lost the game. And it unfortunately happens to them. All 5 die. And it's an easy rundown for the Manticores. They take game number 1. I'm sure they've got something interesting in store for us for game 2. We'll find out right after this.
This is me, I'm so royal, and you all wanna be round. Yeah, you all wanna be round. Round a champion, a champion. I got tons of soul on my true collectible. Famous, so famous, #1 desirable. I do what I want when I want and how I want it. Leave you with the one, and yeah, that's how I roll. I got change to throw, I don't care about no gold. Better, so much better, flipping incredible. Always on the show, so they know that I still got it. And I never feel sorry, yeah, to the world. This is me, I'm so royal, and you all wanna be round. Yeah, you all wanna be round. Round a champion, a champion. This is me, I still on it. Cause you all wanna be loved. Yeah, you all wanna be loved. By a champion, a champion. When I hear him come like my fuse and then ba-bum. Later, see you later, I'm about to blow this up. You can sing my song if you want, I know you want it. It's always kinda funny, yeah, cause I know I'm a superstar in the sky to lead you on. Haters gonna hate us, approve of how they love. They can bring me down, nah. They are jealous of me and my umbrella, yeah, they love me so. This is me, I'm so royal, and you all wanna be round. Yeah, you all wanna be round. Round a champion, a champion. This is me, I still on it. Cause you all wanna be loved. Yeah, you all wanna be loved. By a champion, a champion. Yeah, all I wanna do is just say, you don't understand how I play. I am on my way to win you over. No way, yeah. Oh, you can hear my voice in your head, and you wanna hear it again. So you play it over and over and
Well, game one was all back and forth between the two squads out there, but at the end of the day, Manticores able to come out on top with a win for themselves. But before we go into the breakdown here in game number one, I got to talk to you about a very important thing we have going on right now. From now until August 17th, anything that you purchase directly by Maui in the game, if you purchase the god himself, or if you purchase any of his skins, all of the proceeds towards those skins and god purchase will be going directly over to the Hawaii Community Foundation and the Maui Strong Fund to help those affected by the wildfires across the island of Maui. So if you want to help support, you can buy Maui himself in the game, you can buy his different skins, all of those proceeds will go, or if you want, you can do a direct donation to them as well. You can find them on at HCF Hawaii on Twitter, and they have a link to their website as well if you want to make direct donations there. Also, you can use !HCF in chat, and it'll give you all the information regarding that there. So make sure that you give that a look out there. Remember, that's from now until August 17th that we'll be doing all of those skin proceed donations over towards that charity. Game number one here, Trelly, was a bit of the Wild West. Very beginning, it looked really good for the Titans. Genetic was getting really active. He was stealing buffs. He was doing a lot. His team was going crazy across the map. And then it felt like everything hit a brick wall for a moment, and I honestly don't know where to even begin on this, except for, I guess, congrats to Genetics for getting double-digit stacks on his Prophetic Cloak.
Well, in Genetics' favor, he came out and he told us they were afraid of him. That's why he didn't get it stacked up.
That's fair.
He said once he finished the Prophetic Cloak, they got too scared and they ran from him. So that's the reason that he was not able to get those stacks online. There was a couple big highlight moments in the entirety of this game. Immediately comes to mind, Scream's, I believe it was 1v4 to save the game and make sure that the Titan didn't drop. It was a while ago, but it was a pretty hype moment. And then, of course, the Titans start running it down. They've got 3 Phoenixes. It seems to us like it's going to be a pretty open and shut end call at that point, but the Manticores persevere. And they were able to, I suppose, bait Awesome Jake so hard that the wraparound between Phantom and Fine-OK and Boat was so on point on this. Medusa seemed to be getting plenty of stuns with this ult. It was enough for the Manticores to hold on just barely to come back from a 3 Phoenix down deficit, which is very difficult to do. Hey, it was more entertaining gameplay for it, but I can't help but notice a few moments where it seemed like the Titans probably could have just ended.
I'm sorry, Charlie. You said a lot of really good things, but I just got reminded of the fact that the entire first half of those highlights was Vote versus Genetics. It was Vote killing Genetics, at the purple buff. Then it was vote killing genetics at purple. Then vote killing genetics at beacon. By the way, genetics respawned from that death to then die to vote again at the same beacon fight that was happening. What a wild west of a game that we had.
He did have
for
a lot
game
of deaths
number
to try and pick through for the
He
actual
did.
highlights.
I mean, there was 11 genetics stats, which I think he had more deaths than prophetic stats.
He did. That is
Oh
correct.
no, that felt mean saying that
He
one, but it
could've-
was also truthful.
If he got
If he would have
got 2 more assists, he could have got the triple double. If you count his prophetic stacks. Not the kills. No, we
no,
ignore the kills.
certainly not.
Yeah.
If he would have rushed prophetic cloak, he might have actually gone crazy with this. But unfortunately, he did it like after Chronos Pendant and after Tier 1 Earring, and then as he said, they just stopped fighting him beyond there. Like, he bought it right before that tower dive at Barracuda in the Tier 1.
Yep.
And from that point on, they just stopped fighting near genetics. They just left him alone, said, go do your own thing.
They were scared.
They were scared.
That is what he said.
But it seems that the scared team was the one that ended up winning out here, because it was Manticores with a Game 1 win for themselves in the best of 5, now putting themselves one step closer to moving on to the finals tomorrow. Again, they're waiting for see who wins out on this set and then face off against the Minotaurs tomorrow. And the Manticores are now that one step closer there. So adaptations for game number 2, Trelly. Are we just going to chalk this one up to draft more than anything for the Titans? Because it seemed like the play on field, aside from maybe some questionable Hebo plays during parts of that, felt like the play on field was solid, but maybe the draft is where things kind of waned a little bit.
Yeah, the Titans most definitely need to ban the Hebo. There's no doubt about it.
From genetics.
Away from genetics, yes.
Not let him play.
Their own team, yes. That is what I'm saying, 100%. And if that happens, then yeah. I mean, I think I could change up. It could change up a whole lot. And you say play on field, I don't know. I mean, that man was getting stunned by a lot of Medusa ults.
There was at least 2 that we saw just in the highlights.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, there's maybe ban the Medusa. Hold on, wait a second.
Actually, you might be cooking now. Ban the Medusa. Vote was nuts on that guy. I think he was about 8-3-8 to end the game.
I saw the blue stone into Devos, and I was like, what is going on here? And then he sold the Devos late game for Griffin Wing. It was just like good clear, good ability damage. He translated into a good auto attack build later on. I was like, I see what's going on here, and I respected it. So could be something to consider, or just different support pick entirely there for the Titans. All I know is that the Manticores had some high points for sure, one of which being Final Case performance on the Pele. It's been a build that he showcased a lot in his YouTube channel. Panatom on the Gilgamesh as well. I think had a fantastic performance. Hey, I mean, why not continue shout out everyone? Awesome Drake on the Hell was baiting. He was building lots of movement speed, zooming around. I'm convincing myself. The Manticores were looking good, man. Despite the fact that they were 3 Phoenixes down.
Right.
They were looking good. Because, again, Scream and Haddix were kind of putting on a bit of a show. They had, the Alquang solo was a problem. The Bastet was a bit of a problem. Once the actual Titan save where Scream gets the triple kill in the base,
That was
keeps his Titan alive.
That was good defense.
Great defense after that. Looked real solid, but it looks like the Manticores do not want to deal with big man Tings on the Neath. Probably a smart call, considering those ults. We saw a lot of those Neath ults become pretty disastrous there for the Manticores, so probably a good look. Take that one away.
A lot of respect to Jake here from the Titans. Not just the Aphrodite that we saw also in Game 1, but the Hell. Maybe a bit too problematic for the Titans to deal with. So now, what does the support of the Manticores go? We'll have to hold our breath on that one, because for now, it's Sun Wukong let through the draft and now picked up for the side of the Manticores to go over into that solo lane spot for Final Case. So we'll see him move away from the Pele, which we looked at the beginning of the build and went, huh, he's cooking up something. He went, what, Sigil, Frostbound into, I think, Prophetic Cloak after. Now let's see what he can do with Sun Wukong. But who cares about Sun Wukong? Sun Wukong's boring. Everybody knows what that god is going to do. Let's talk about Anubis that got locked in by the Titans. Don't see much Anubis. We saw a little bit in the SCC when Sam for Soccer was playing it jungle. We saw a little bit of it mid when he first kind of popped back up. What are your thoughts on Anubis right now, Trelly?
I'm just really worried it's genetics on Anubis, man. That's what I'm thinking right now. Did that go through your head?
Out there.
Did that go through your head yet? Or
no, I was trying to let that one like not sink in. I was trying to just like hope and pray Anubis jungle or something like that.
I mean, yeah, we can hope, but that's where I'm thinking it's probably going. Like that is the current mindset for me. That it probably is just gonna be genetics taking the Anubis. So, again, I hope that's not the case. it would be a bit different. Anubis, I think, has way better clear. As far as I'm concerned, though, if you're taking a mage like Hebo or Anubis into the support role, then just commit to the full damage. You know what I mean? You don't need the Prophetic Cloak. You don't need the Sob. Just commit full damage. I think it's just a lot better of a look.
Sun Wukong and now Horus for the Manticores, currently hovering in Ishtar for their Hunter selection. It was Cernunnos to go alongside that Anubis on the opposite side for the Titans. So far, 3 physicals for the Manticore, lacking a little bit in their magic department. Do we see this Horus go over to the support role? Gotta imagine so, seeing the Sun Wukong, because we've really only seen Horus go into solo and into support. And we haven't really seen Wukong go anywhere besides the solo lane as of recent. Now I'm a little less worried about this Anubis going to support because the Hebo's locked in again, but maybe for the sake of how the last game went, you put that Hebo to somebody else. But does that make it better or worse, putting Anubis in support versus Hebo in support?
Well, I'm trying to just figure out the drafts we have so far. So we have Cern.
Yeah.
We've got Anubis.
Uh-huh.
And we've got Hebo. If neither, I mean, I don't know, man. It's hard to try and figure out. I'm going to focus on the left side of the map.
You know, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Focus
we got lots of physicals, but plenty of prot shred. Not going to be too much of an issue for Ishtar. The Horus also is going to bring you some decent clear, decent beads burn over in that lane. The question now becomes, is this something like an Anubis or a Hebo in support, and what Hunter do you pair with a mage like that? I mean, like I said, the Anubis has plenty of clear. The Hebo, we've already seen how that goes. You can have a decent time, but it's just, would you really run it back? That's my question. Is Genetics the kind of guy that would ego run back the Hebo and say, I swear it's going to work? That last one didn't count.
I think so.
You did seem pretty.
I think so.
You did seem pretty confident in that one.
Thor and the Morrigan banned by the Titans. On her and Ares by the Manticore. Pick goes back over to the Titans. We do have the Cernunnos, Anubis, and Hebo as our top 3. So Cernunnos over into the duo lane, likely, for Barracuda on that spot. So the question mark really does pop up. Is this Cernunnos Hebo as a duo? Is this Cernunnos Anubis as a duo? Or is Anubis and Hebo not even going to the support role? Will we see those go over towards mid, solo, jungle, question mark potentially? It's weird to say that there's that much flexibility with those 2 mages, but after we saw what we saw in game number 1 from the Titans, feels like it literally could just go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm imagining what could even come from that, so we'll have to continue. The year-long Shen, I assume, that just goes over to Panatom, right? That doesn't seem like too much of an issue. We're just getting Scream. And I think that's got CC. You've got plenty of it already, considering the hard CC that Anubis provides. Cern, of course, with the cripple, and the big polymorph from that ultimate. But you need setup. You need something to keep these mages safe in the back line, assuming they're going to be in the back line. They could be in the front line. I'm waiting.
Man.
I'm waiting to see exactly, but I don't see any peel so far for the Titans. The year-long Shen definitely provides some of that setup, but as far as Scream's going to play, he wants to go in, right? He wants to create space. He wants the W key.
Okay.
The Set and the Agni.
Set jungle?
It's kind of blasphemous to have Set and Horus on the same team, no?
Yeah, you're supposed to put them against each other. That way they can, like, double proc their passives and, stack them up a little bit faster. But Set, Horus, Ishtar, Sun Wukong, and Agni are going to be your final picks for the Manticores. And so my ultimate question does come down to, where do some of these spots go? Agni to mid would make sense, but we've also been seeing a lot of Set mid. But it seems that Set jungle may likely be the call here, Charlie. Everything else that's been locked in feels like that's the most likely spot to see that one, but we haven't seen Set jungle in such a long time. Is there maybe a difference in power curve whenever you do Set mid versus something like Set jungle?
Well, J-Mac,
Uh-huh.
I want to answer your question. I do. Because, that's how this works. We come up here, we talk about the picks and bans, you ask me questions, I answer, and we go to game.
Yeah.
But the chalk has been locked in, which,
Right.
in my mind, cements that either the Anubis or the Hebo is going to support.
Don't say that.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, wait, you got a better idea?
Erlong Shen support.
Nope. That's going to Scream. Haddox takes the chalk.
No way Scream's that boring.
I
Scream's
think
not that
I think
guy.
Tings takes the Hebo, and I think Genetics says, "Give me the switch up. I want the Anubis."
He wants the
support."
Anubis.
That's what I would imagine.
I would hope for a little more spice than that, though. Like game 1 was pretty standard over everything. So we're getting word from production, so we can take a look. It is going to be a run back of Hebo's support.
Well, you were right.
But we do have some flavor thrown in. It's going to be Chalk mid this time for the Titans. Erlong Shen solo, which means that Anubis is going in the jungle for the Titans.
You know what? The Anubis jungle can be threatening. You know, it provides ganks. It's got decent clear. It has 100-0 potential. You just have to watch out for, you know, anti-heal and ease of dive, which I think Set can certainly provide. Wukong can certainly provide it as well. Agni doesn't even have to get close with his range damage. Man, quite the matchup we have on our hands here. The Titans have something to come back from. We already know that I'm going to say it, they did really throw that end call. I mean, 3 Phoenixes down and you lose, that is definitely a throw. So they've got to play around the strengths of their comp. And hey, if Anubis gets to that Titan, you know, a lot easier to end that way. Maybe that was the call. Maybe that's the switch up. Like, we need more Titan damage that Anubis can provide.
If you're running the Hebo's support back a second time, Charlie, which you haven't run it once.
I
You've
would
seen
run it the first time.
You wouldn't run it the first.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't run it the first time.
Uh-huh.
No matter how many times I close my eyes and you tell me all the great things that a Hebo can do and how it sounds great support.
Yep.
We gotta look at it. Maybe it wasn't the greatest. Is your change up from game 1 to game 2? Now you don't go the Chronos Pendant immediately, and instead you want to go for that prophetic, or are you still imagining that he goes to that same build path and maybe that same timeline that he went in game number 1?
I'm either starting Cloak or building full damage. There is no in between.
No,
It's either Cloak first item or I'm going full damage Hebo. Like, there is no supporting. I'm not here to peel for you. I am just another damage duo that happens to share the duo lane for the first 5 minutes.
The greatest CC and support you can provide your team is just outright killing the enemy player. Just making sure that they are no longer able to play on the battlefield. We'll see what happens in game number 2 between the Manticores and the Titans, kicking off right now with Gore and Myth.
That's right, an exciting one at that, I have to imagine, after what we got last game. And Mifflin, they're not changing the pace. At least not too much. Jake, once again on a healer, on a Horus, something that's often fine okay, has been dragged down to his level. And is locked in the Sun Wukong. Panatom's on a set. Meanwhile, the other side, Erlong, Scream with the Anubis in the jungle. Ting's playing Chalk mid, which we've seen before and haven't seen in a while. So maybe some interesting things over there. Genetics, you know, maybe we can get your thoughts on that. Genetics back on the Hebo. But it's a 53-47 split in favor of the Manticores in Twitch chat.
Well, we've made some advancements in the Hebo tech. It's not the same Hebo we had last game, Gore. Now it's going to be Bancroft's Talon first item teleport Hebo? And I'm thinking somehow, some way it got worse. And that's an exciting prospect for me.
Yeah.
To be sure. And the rest of the team composition around him may have also gotten worse. So I think there's a lot of bad that's going to be happening there.
Now, here's what I want to do.
Okay.
And this is a peek behind the curtains, everybody. What Mifflin's doing is he's setting the stage.
Yep.
Specifically so that when the Titans come out and are just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
It's like you're like subverting expectations.
And I'm going to like really play it up too. I'm going to be like, oh my
like
God, how could I have
everything you
been
just
so
said was like
wrong?
a lie. Yeah.
God, it's just so crazy how they've completely subverted expectations.
Wow. That's crazy.
Dude, I keep saying, wow, that's crazy, but they keep talking to me.
I'm on my 5th, wow, that's crazy, and 17th,
And they're still locking the Hebo supports.
And we'll see how well that works out. Quick pause up at the front. As I guess we get these players settled. Some of the guys remote.
Do we go to the screen of the team that paused? Is that what we always do?
And put them on blast.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good to know.
So that you know immediately.
Yeah, chat.
Here's whose fault it is.
Here's the thing, chat, about how
Those
you guys
guys.
always blame us about these little technical pauses, right? But we're literally putting the people on screen you should be angry at. Like, you can find Final K's Twitter. I know you can because he's got like 40,000 followers.
Yes.
Get at him.
And that comes from a place purely of Mifflin knows that. He doesn't check it often because he's not like jealous or anything.
No,
of
not
his follower
jealous.
count.
No, yeah, no.
Doesn't want to hit 10K.
No, I don't.
You
I
should
don't have
totally
it bookmarked.
follow twitter.com/MifflinTV.
You nailed it.
Nice. Look, I got to do plugs. I got to know some of them.
Was Jake just not in the room? Is that why they paused? He stood up. He got a drink, right?
That was Jake was already ready. It's remote. That being said,
Yep.
if I remember correctly, and I encouraged it, but I know Scream did order food. So maybe, like, for him, it's in his best interest to get this going as fast as possible. And maybe that is the style play that the Manticores are coming at this with. They pause the game, Mifflin,
Knowing that they're going to delay his meal.
that they're dealing with a hungry Scream on the other side. It's all mind games right now.
But here's the thing about a hungry animal. That's when they're most dangerous.
Yeah.
The Sprack is just a animal backed up and hungry, dude. He's just in his little cage. You don't want to be stuck there with him.
And here we see Scream in his natural habitat. No.
Yeah, queued
He's
up in a
angry.
Smite lobby, huh?
Yeah.
That is probably his natural habitat. For a lot of these guys, these younger players, like, the majority of their life has been Smite.
The
Right.
majority of your life has been Smite.
I have barely just avoided the majority mark.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I got into Smite when I was like 13.
So how many more years? Okay, so just a couple more years.
Yeah,
and then
if we can hang out for like 2 more years, you got me. It's the majority of my life.
He's unlocked. That's you said you always like peeks into the domesticated life. I think you were lying, but I'm gonna do it anyway. But that's like, I like counting down to that. Like, hey, what age am I going to be where I've spent more
Dardes,
of
get
my
out
life
of there.
with Katie than without? And yeah, Dardes.
You had dash?
And he held on to it, man. That was calm under pressure.
Dardes stares, Scream in the eyes, says, "You do not intimidate me." Just takes the whole Plague of Locust.
Yeah. And it was jungle, huh? Yeah. Yeah, you wanna Plague a Locust a little more, buddy?
That's crazy.
You can walk
dude.
during that, did you know? Doesn't mean anything to me.
Dardes is a different breed. He really is. Fun fact for those of you who haven't paid attention to all of our fun content day bits. We did a team check-in with Dardes. He is actually the junior Parisian badminton champion, and I've ruined First Blood by talking over it.
Well, it doesn't matter.
We'll
Too
get
heavily.
plenty more.
Vote, unfortunately, falls here. And maybe that's the return, the revenge of the Titans. As they set themselves up. And at least for the First Blood, goes over towards Barra. And Mifflin? I'll admit, when I picked that up, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more. Maybe a kill onto Jake with the damage they have, but slowing it down. Not as aggressive, not as reckless. But the team's still pushing the limit as they can.
Yeah, Genetics out to prove that Hebo jungle can work. Does reprise the "I'll just simply steal your back camps" play. This time, though, instead of the green buff, he's tried to maneuver towards that purple. Didn't quite catch which one of those teams was able to secure it. Jake was on Contestion, and considering Vote's pathing, I'm no detective, but I think he'd go for it if he got it. So, and it's been picked up. I'm certainly not a detective. Successful invade. Was it picked up?
No.
No.
There's not a purple buff anywhere.
No,
but
no.
It did fade away into the ether.
Every day I stray further and further from detective.
Have you, in chat, bear with us here.
Hold on. This might be a never mind. Go
never
ahead.
mind. Did you see the Barbie movie?
No, I haven't yet.
No. Okay.
No.
Well, then the joke that I was going to make would fall flat. So instead,
I'm sure someone in chat's seen it.
Well, someone in chat, some people in production probably have, but it's a little bit of time. There's the death gaze, though. Scream finds it on the tail end. The dash not enough for Jake to get away. Second kill for the Titans. They're going for
Genetics
a
is
third
taking
as
it
well.
up.
Genetics holding on. Takes a lot of damage from the tower and has assistance from the team. Scream gets a second. Walks through the tower, though. Feeds one kill over to Panatom, who's looking for a second. Might go the double route. Needs to close gap. Try to find Barra. Genetics is low. No mana to use.
He whiffed
That's
it.
going to be it. The damage is there. Double kill for Panatom. Genetics is low. Not going to get involved in this one, though. Backs away. Panatom finds two. Genetics with a nice little, I don't know if he was, no, he looked to the left. That's not where Barra sat. Unfortunately, nothing too cheeky happening over there.
Man, if there's just a little bit more mana there for Genetics, things could have been a little bit different. Likely would have had maybe a water spout, or even just the ultimate to try and peel. Like that from Dardes, reset the camp, knowing Big Man Tings was on the way. Don't love it from Dardes in that he'll lose out on the camp. Don't love it from big man Tings. He ulted nothing. But nothing ventured,
it did
nothing
hit
gains.
the camp. It just didn't, like, he just reset it immediately, so it didn't matter.
I thought he hit it while it was reset.
Oh, actually, it was
immune,
Yeah,
I
so it was
think, yeah.
completely immune. Yeah, never mind. Miff, I'm sorry. You know what? I came into your house and questioned you there. That's on me, man.
Stay in your lane, bro.
Like, shouldn't have done that, you know, and I got to apologize, like, first and foremost. So I stepped out of line.
Gore, I'll give you a fun fact, though, because we don't get to see chalk skins too often. We'll talk about it after Vote gets
Vote's getting
absolutely
melted.
eviscerated. He's in tatters on the battleground now, as Jake tries his best to prevent a purple buff from going, in vain, by the way. Big Man Tings on this chalk skin, it actually has a unique mechanic, exclusive to this skin.
Yeah.
For every kill Big Man Tings does, he becomes drenched in blood.
Yeah,
I think
bloodier.
it stacks up to 3 times. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that. I don't know if Big Man Tings is going to be doing much killing this game, but if he does, we'll be checking in.
Depends on what kind of ults we're getting.
Yeah.
We've seen one. He's 0 for right now, so maybe
Not inspiring
some
confidence
improvements
just yet.
To try and pick up. But in the future. That's actually one of my favorite things. When that skin came out, that was, I mean, it was just insane. I didn't think that was like new skin technology.
And I think it still is exclusive tech. I'm pretty sure no other skins are like conditional if you
On
get
your
kills.
kills, yeah. So,
They're
I mean,
like
because we have the ones that are like conditional on like levels.
levels and transform based on like ultimate.
Yeah, but
No,
just on kill
that's
alone.
just this one. Slaughterhouse chalk shots. You can get it in a chest probably.
And if not, probably direct.
It's one of the older ones.
All
for
of these,
sure.
though, we say probable. Because you never know.
But here's the thing about how if you're buying any skins right now, you should be buying Maui skins to support the funds out in Maui.
Exclamation point HCF in chat to know what's going on over there. Some wildfires raging on the island. There's something going wrong.
He's probably okay.
Solo, yeah, it's Wukong. I don't know why I thought anything different. In fact, with Panatom over here, could change things up. Scream goes for the ult, but just can't keep up with the movement. That's an easy kill on a rooted target. Going the way. Fine, okay, scooping it up. Creating open opportunities in the solo lane.
Yeah, Scream's gonna run into a unique issue soon. It's multifaceted in that generally it's Anubis that's going to stack up lifesteal as quickly as possible so that he can just sustain on every wave he ever touches or win out on those boxing matches like we had just seen. Death Gaze is your best survivability tool as well as your best damage tool. Instead, has elected to pick up Chronos Pendant so that he'll have those abilities more often, sacrificing survivability, which is perhaps going to be alleviated a bit by Genetics, who does not go towards Bancrofton for a slot, but instead picks up Pythag's piece, which gives over additional power and lifesteal to everyone nearby. So, if Sprack and Genetics are playing together, there's a lot of mobility out there, a lot of lifesteal. Could be cool.
Well, Genetics has to stay alive for that. Panatom looking to cut that one down. Easy enough for the jungler. Simple rotation, catches the Hebo off sides.
Off kilter.
I was going to say off kilter.
Off tilt, even.
And keeps the game. Then 500 in terms of gold. Nothing too crazy going on. 4-4, 8 minutes in. Feels like some pressure building up in the left side jungle. But Dardez taking some safe pathing. It seems like the, not full retreat, but safe retreat from the Manticores. It's going to get them a purple buff invade and a clean disengage with a 3v2 over in the left. Got to be careful around the shield buff. It doesn't seem like either of these players are going to get too aggressive. I'm watching FineOK's build right now, though, Mifflin, because, you know, JMac had mentioned playing Pele on solo on the YouTube channel. I pulled up the build. We looked at it. A lot of the items were pretty similar, maybe some specific for this game. But he's gone for the Frostbound again in terms of the hammer. And there's
as
a good
opposed
chance.
to what?
Well, you know what? I don't. I think my brain thought Frostbite from Ymir, and I wanted to like very much make sure that everyone knew it was.
We're
not
talking
the
about the
same
hammer.
thing. We're talking about the hammer. There is no Ymir. If he goes for like the Phalanx, it might not be like a Pele build. It might just be his solo build right now.
Yeah, I just can't think that that's true.
It might be his I'm having fun solo.
He's certainly having fun. Dardez a little bit less so. Knocked down by Scream. Kill doesn't
Only
go to Big Man
'cause he can
Tings. So no blood on the jumper just yet. Genetics perhaps in a bit of trouble here. Keep your eyes on that ultimate cooldown. Still available. Means he'll be able to get out of dodge should he need to. Was there you asked me a question, right? What am I talking about? Why am I chair
Did I
winning?
ask you a question? I feel like I just said it feels like this is his solo lane build. And
Oh, you're
said,
right.
like,
It
surely
just can't be. It just can't. Frostbound is one of the most poorly statted items, I think. It's just not that good.
Just stop. Why am I tier 1-ing?
Something was happening. I got lost, man. When these players play, I get mesmerized.
Yeah. You see the gameplay happen, and it just draws you in.
That's right.
Much like, it seems like Barra, maybe Genetics going to get drawn into a fight here.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Not going to find the stun. And unfortunately for Jake, I think that's all she wrote in terms of aggression on his team's part. The other way around, Scream, utilizing that Anubis change from earlier this year to its maximum capabilities. Chasing people down with the Plague of Locusts when possible. Just forces a teleport out of Panatom. A lot of rotation, a lot of pressure over on the left side jungle.
A lot of world champions right here.
And brag about it, am I right?
Yeah, imagine using the title. He has that whole... You know what?
That's the second one we've seen today.
Genetics pause. He said, look, bud, you're not going to be doing that in my games, okay? We're going to figure this one out. Wait till the dash is down next time. You never know with this guy. I like that, though, from Big Man Tings. Just heat check him. You got the reaction time. I'm going to laugh 4 times. 5th laugh, I'm going to dunk you. You got some time. Figure it out. And, well, it seems like Dardas seems to have that timing down.
Yeah, he's tracked it now at this point. He knows the 5th laugh is when the danger comes. Unfortunately for Tings, that is now the second ult that we've caught, at least, that I remember.
And you know he's missing a lot off camera.
Yeah, that's not happened. No kills yet. I'm honestly, selfishly, rooting for some Chalk kills exclusively to see a mechanic that you had mentioned, right? Just to make sure that you're not like hung out to dry or anything.
That skin is like pretty unpopular. Some people probably maybe have never seen it.
Yeah, I mean, because how often is Chalk A, meta, and B,
never.
Are you also playing Slaughterhouse? Like, I'm actually genuinely, that first part of that question, I genuinely can't remember the last time Chalk was like super meta. We saw him in like jungle in the SCC for so long.
It was one guy.
And he just kept doing it over and over again.
Oh, no, it was Sino. It was Sino.
Yeah, that was definitely Sino.
Yeah.
And then when he got back into the Pro League, we were like, well, he's been playing like ESET and Chalk. Those are like his gods.
And now he's got
then
Thanatos.
He just didn't do that.
He's not even here. Should we check in with the state of the game?
About him. Well, I know we are. I believe Genetics is doing his own little check-in right now, which is where the pause came in. How do you feel? I mean, state of the game.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling optimistic.
What do you mean, like this game, like Smite as a whole?
No, this match. This match.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty optimistic. Feels like there's a good northbound wind here. Should bring us good tidings. Yeah, it is very stormy here in Alpharetta, Georgia.
If we disappear for some reason, no, it's because of an electricity thing.
Yes. Not because we wanted to leave. There is legitimately...
You remember when... Oh, sorry, that's getting way off base. Actually, we've got time. You remember when Dave left as a bit? Like, that was like the bit was he just got in his car and left?
That was a bit?
They filmed it. Do you remember? Like, Jordan was standing outside as his car drove away with a camera.
Like when he quit?
No, not that part. Like, it was just like a day. Like, he just left early.
He got to do that? A bit?
Do you not remember that?
No, dude.
Yeah. Well, it happened. What a fun bit.
Dude, my bits are always so involved.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Vote, Barra Genetics involved in this kill. Easy pickup for them, but it's going to be met by a rotation. Panatom, Jake collapsing on the carry. And that's all she wrote. 2-1 for Barra. Another death on the board. Dardas stunned out, locked down.
Not this time.
Scream takes the kill. Eventually we will see some blood on that Chalk. I'm certain of it. 002 for Tings in mid. And Mifflin a small reset because there's no huge fight over the beacon.
Yeah, right now it feels like it's the Titans versus Panatom. Panatom losing to the allegations that he is sweating. Certainly his. And that's set out of jungle 4-0-1. 100% kill participation and not slowing down anytime soon, it would seem. But it's a team game, as it always will be, and the Titans succeeding right now in that, putting themselves at about 1,000 gold lead. It is interesting to see. One, this combo, disgusting.
There's
you can't
the
move.
kill.
Yeah, zoom in on him, Doug. Let's get in there. Yeah, and it gets bloodier than that. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that's just part one.
That's
of
part
a
one
three-part
of 3.
plan.
That's right. Like a play.
Unfortunately, if he dies between 1 and 3,
It resets, yeah.
we will be resetting, and that'll cause a little bit of trouble.
It's going to be real hard to kill him, though. He's got beads, and he's getting a little bit tankier.
And it's like he's chalk.
He's chalk. He's healing a lot. Really strong off tank. Highly mobile. No, he's chilling.
Unfortunately for FineOK, he blinks into 2 waiting, 3 around, goes up into the somersault cloud, and aggression immediately onto Scream, running on the Anubis, but not far enough. Panatom chases him down and is looking for a little more. FineOK, Cudgel slams, picks up
Lord.
Genetics. Haddix stays alive under the tier 1 tower and right. Tings is rotated in. Panatom teleports forward and finds him. And even steals away the buff. Panatom. A nice little tear right now. 5-0 and 2.
Uh-oh.
Like you said, maybe losing some to his allegations. Not losing as far as the game is concerned. Barra and Vote. Nice little boxing match. Haddix is low but behind.
Yikes.
Oh, unfortunately misses everything. Haddix gets to walk away. But his team's getting work done elsewhere on the map. Tier 1 mid pressure. Up tower, down. Genetics coming in. Scream in the jungle. Jake, as well as Panatom, want to get away, and it looks like they should be able to. The slows are enough to keep things annoying. But attention's now on Dardos.
Yeah, Dardos should be all right here. No ultimate available for big man Tings, so not a whole lot of threat towards the enemy mid laner. The Manticores should be able to reset, but if they go too far, they'll lose out on the objective. Pyromancer for the right, but on the left-hand side, the Manticores have got eyes for the Oni Fury. It's going to be dangerous, though. It's burning real slow.
Barra spots it out, has ult. There's low health bars on the other side. Fury dropped completely. Now some engage comes in. Tings needs one more. Can't find the auto. Can't get the kill. Now 4 surrounding the 1. Cudgel, slam from FineOK. Tiger Stun not going to connect thanks to the Axe teleport. Ult from Jake.
Still chasing.
Closes some gap. Finds Barra with the stun. Dash forward from the Kern. Keeps him safe. Tier 1 only doing a little bit to ward them away.
Great Aegis.
Finds a lot of utility. They might turn some damage around. Tower doing a little bit of work. Somersault Cloud. It's back up. FineOK is going to fall back. Keep himself safe. Well, I thought fall back. Instead goes in. Oxform gets him a little further, but damage is there. Vote goes into the tower. Vote trades out his life for nothing. Genetics finally falls. And one retaliation, but a great taunt from Haddix and a great amount of damage from the team. They need more to kill off Dardes, but they've lost the dual lane. They've lost their mid laner. And a great play from Panatom on the back, and now he's coming in. The damage has to be there for Scream. He's looking for a little more. Can't give up on this one. He's trying to find his way in. Chase down. Teleport forward. There's the auto. Finds himself another 8-0-2. But unfortunately for him, that goose egg will not last forever.
Woo!
Pin auto kill. And Haddix gets a big bounty.
Dude, I think Panatom was going for the sauciest play, which was drop Soldier on feet, slow backwards, then teleport to Soldier away, while simultaneously applying the slow from Skewer. Unfortunately for him, it's only one auto attack that Haddix needs there, so able to knock him down. So where does that leave us? 4 for 4 trade? 5 for 4 trade, I believe, actually. The Titans coming out on the tail end there with a slight lead. Panatom giving over that massive bounty to Haddix. Could have some ripple effects going forward. Haddix has gone for a hyper-aggressive build. Balance played likely to Executioner, unlikely to Aussie in this next slot. It means that he is shredding just about everyone on the Manticores. Fortunately for the Manticores, silver lining is that he has not stacked up a whole lot of defense just yet. So if Dardes is involved, Haddix not exactly as tanky as he might expect to be. Otherwise, though, it's about an even game. Titans benefiting ever so slightly. A lot of that experience, a lot of that gold in mid, actually. Nearly a 2-level lead for BMT.
Unfortunately, he did reset.
No, dude, I didn't even realize.
Yeah, that was. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news there. Beacon spawns in. And these teams, look, 24 kills on the board. And now grouped up for the second Beacon. 5 strong for the Titans in the area. Already halfway charged for the Manticores is the control point. That's going to get dropped back to neutral. Now in favor of the Titans. Vote is rotated over, as has FineOK, so the full 5-on-5 can truly begin. Beacon right now in favor of the Manticores once again. Stun onto Haddix. Crushing Wave this time does some damage onto Vote, but they need more to close out the kill. Unable to find it so far. Ult from Tings gets to the back and finds what's necessary. Scream trades it out. Unfortunately, 1 for 1. Barra, low, needs a little bit of help here. Finds it in the form of Haddix. Jake goes in and kills off his former lane mate. Genetics trades it out, support for support, not just taking your spot, taking your life, and now taking the beacon. It's going to be control for the Titans.
3 for 2 trade. Titans coming out ahead once more. Can they find a bit more on map? Tier 1 mid tower should go quick, but a kill on a Dardes would do much more for their Fire Giant play. Potentially, Big Man Tings want to trade out his life here. Should just fall down to Panatom. That will eliminate the odds of Fire Giant here. So it will just be that Tier 1 tower, plus killing a Dardes and relics off Dardes for the next 2 minutes. Could be very impactful going forward. The Tartarus Titans, they do not show, excuse me, just the Titans.
Yeah.
Do not shy away from a fight.
That was a dangerous brand thing for the event.
They want to keep us on our toes.
Yeah. Man, 2 of us have already fallen to it. If all 4, if we fail, what happens?
I don't know.
Is it a test?
We just gotta hope it doesn't happen.
Well, right now what is happening, and maybe unawares for the Manticores. Fire Giant started by the Titans a la game 1, and with that ult from Scream, they had the burn to get it low quick enough that it's 19.5. They pick that up. Lose the Oni Fury. Potentially able to get a Pyro. Dardes, you had mentioned. Now no dash and no relics. Pin connects. Should be an easy chase down.
Did he miss?
Has that. Damage is good. And even if he did, they find the kill. Find themselves an advantage. But look at the placement of all the Manticores. They're aggressive right now.
Yeah, and if anyone's spotted out, they'll realize very quickly that Haddix is on the rotation. Could catch out Jake here. Vote's also in a very aggressive position, but it's not just the Manticores split up, it's the Titans too.
And now the Manticores 4 on 2. Make it just 4 on 1. Body blocks should be good. Damage is there. Tings with a nice silence. And a beautiful, beautiful teleport to the axe. Otto's not connecting, but there's the ult. You have to imagine that's enough damage. Tings is somehow still alive, and the team has come to rally around a double for Barra, and Tings walks away from this one. Beautiful moments from the Titans to rally around their mid laner, keep him alive, and get things done with the FG.
Yeah, the juke back from Tings just forces Awesome Jake into a poor position, delivers his team to the back line of the Titans, and with the damage there, able to make short work of Panatom and Finoke. Tier 2 tower to boot. Potentially a bit more. Genetics is low, though. 1 bomb is all it would take to knock him down.
Has to play carefully. Seems like he'll be fine. Bomb thrown towards the left. Phoenix, and speaking of bomb, Runic Bomb, used to help guarantee mid gone. 3 Tier 2 standing for the Titans. Now mid Phoenix exposed. The others still have their Tier 2 lane. Sorry, not just exposed, gone. So 21.5 in, 34 kills. Titans lead 20-14. Mifflin, it goes beyond that. 7,000 gold in their pockets right now. And a big smile on Barra's face.
Yeah, Barracuda seemed like he may have been worried after game 1, but game 2, Genetics proving it was not a Genetics problem or a Hebo problem. It was simply execution, and is able to rectify the ship here. And in itemization maybe a bit as well. Finding some of that lifesteal and power, helping out the rest of his team. Getting a good deal of value. If you can't get Aura defense, might as well get Aura something. He said Pythax piece is going to be the answer this time. But can the Titans keep up their siege? A few times now they've caught the Manticores unaware, sneak away a Fire Giant, catch out a few on a misplay, knock down a bird, but we haven't seen a true 5-on-5 engagement in a defensive position or in a siege situation either. The Titans draft should theoretically struggle at actually knocking down these structures when the Manticores are grouped up and playing together. Whether or not the Manticores elect to go down that path, TBD. But they could slow down the pace from here. Let that Fire Giant respawn, see if they can use it as an unofficial 6-man. It's going to be a little while. Still plenty of time on this Fire Giant power play.
Yeah, they're pretty comfortable amount of control for the Titans right now. Having to defend their own Tier 2 on right, while they're getting aggressive on the Tier 2 on left. That one falls down. The tower for the Manticores. Now down to just the one on right. Phoenix is the target for Barra. Tings wants a little more. Tings takes too much damage. Haddix goes deep into the base, gets some good spread onto Jake and Dardes, but unfortunately unable to find the lockdown. Barra gets the kill on the bird. Haddox is so tanky. I mean, this is a nice engage. Burn seems to be there, and burn is the right word. Dardes with a massive amount of damage facilitates a kill for Vote onto Haddox. 2 down for the Titans, with 2 birds down for the Manticores. They're going to have to worry about wave after wave of fire minions. And you were going in, you were talking about the next fire giant. Now, Titans have a pretty massive advantage, plus the Titans themselves about to start spawning, running down right lane once Genetics captures this beacon. Might get caught out, though. Panatom's right here. And I guess we'll get to see how tanky he truly is. The answer, not enough. Panatom gets that kill. The team gets the Gold Fury on the side.
He never broke the shield, Core. He never even broke the shield.
Well, I mean, look at the build. He didn't, like, go for damage, though. So.
No, I mean, he's got a little bit. He's not tanky either, though, from what I could tell.
Yeah.
He didn't really use Atlas of the Yellow River to run away. Like, he stood his ground. Genetics chose that fight. Maybe he could have avoided it a little bit longer, waited for a rotation from his allies, but it seems like he's unpressed, as the rest of his team is doing so well as of now. Fire Giant on the mend has rejoined the realm of the living, but it's the Manticores trying to make a fast play with Genetics off the map.
Fire Giant started up. Again, the Manticores up 1-0 so far in the full series. We'll have to see where they go set-wise. Titans get the FG. You
So
can't
easy.
write that one in the script. Barra just walks in. Not even Barra. Scream with the death gaze from afar. Finds the damage necessary. Unfortunately, they lose Barra immediately afterward. Now it's going to be the trade-off. Fire minions being pushed up by Haddox in mid. Titans being pushed up by the Manticores. No Fire Giant for the Order side team. Chaos.
TP in?
Maybe going to be playing.
What is he
a little
cooking?
wildly.
What is he cooking? Where is he going, bro? What's the teleport for? You could have walked there. That's equidistant to your base. You could have. The fountain was closer, man. I love it. I love it.
Man, I don't even know. I don't know what to pick up from. You know what? Titan moving forward on right lane.
Just getting
Just
the
get
one.
the reset. The Titans take care of the Order. Give themselves maybe an opportunity for a win. That could have been the play. Maybe the call was teleport in. Let's push these fire minions, see what we can get done. Oh, wait, the Titans in right. What do we do?
Knock down the weakened mid Phoenix.
Yeah, that would have been helpful.
I don't know that they could have done that. Could have just been walk to the Titan.
Teleport in. We're going to walk to the Titan.
No, I just
Oh,
just walk to the
Yeah,
Titan.
don't teleport, period. Well, look, 70 seconds. It's going to be back up relatively soon. And Mifflin, with the pace that this game has taken in the last few minutes, I was going to say we might be waiting for it. Genetics might be fishing for something he doesn't want. Knocks up fine, okay. Atlas of the Yellow River to get some damage out there.
Yeah, he won that trade.
And he won the trade. Well, he won the battle. And then subsequently the war afterward. Right now it's a grouping from the Titans' right side. Looking at the tier 2. Again, with 4 of them having Fire Giant after that steal. Barra died immediately, but it was worthwhile for his team. Phoenix is respawning. Haddox and crew trying to make sure that they have some answers to that one so the Titans can stay aggressive.
Keeping it split all the way across the map will open the door for just this. Beads off Vote. Scream avoids all the bombs, too. So now Dardes, just one left. Shows you how much damage he's got when they connect.
Left side Phoenix push thwarted. Silence comes out from Tings, but he's locked down. Has to use the axe for the disengage. Genetics, Haddox, Tings running around in mid with 4 around them. Looks like they're going to be able to find the disengage. Healing for Tings is enough to make him walk away, no problem. And Dardes has been doing everything in his power to save this right tier 2. So far has held on to it, has some damage, helps out, gets the kill onto Genetics. Loses the tier 2, but the team ready to surge forward. A lot of pings with the pathways coming
Caught
through.
the slow.
Fine, okay. blinks forward. Cudgel, slam onto Scream. Tiger stun with immunity as well. And he gets in
Big
there to get to the
slows.
fight. Now they've actually got their opportunity wide and open. Fine, okay, he's taking a lot of poke in the process, but Dardes is here to help him out with some damage. Jake bites off more than he can chew and ends up falling. So do so many of the Titans. The Manticores lose their front line, but take 4 with them. Haddix gets to run away this time. Lone man standing for the Chaos team. Last one with an FG. Still a lot of work to be done for the Manticores to get back in this game.
40-second synced timers on Scream, BMT, and Barracuda means that it's just going to be up to Haddix and Genetics on defense. Genetics not doing a whole lot of damage and not exactly tanky just yet. Means that maybe you could have looked towards either the Pyromancer or even that right side bird. Instead, it will be the Pyromancer, Vote, and Panatom. Have got plenty of DPS for this. Titans need to play careful. Starting to get dangerously close to a similar situation where things are in control. He's looking pretty decent, and then a poor team fight could cost it all. Manticore is still within striking distance as of now. And it's Dardes in particular who is a massive threat. Panatom, of course, 12, 2, and 7. I mean, I'm not going to ignore the jungler.
Yeah.
I mean, 19 out of 22 affected kills. He's popping off. But as far as like actually setting up these kills and doing substantial damage, it's Dardes for the most part. Massive target on his back. Because with all the dive on the Titans, you'd think it would be relatively easy to get to that Agni. You've got guaranteed ways to force the dash every single time. Haddix, Big Man Ting's one of the two who've got it easily. So the others should be able to make use of the force dash. But for the most part, it's just Dardes surviving a lot of these engagements.
Fire Giant spawned in, making a big show of it as well. The Titans immediately take control of the FG pit. 30 minutes in, this is going to be an enhanced Fire Giant. 44 kills on the board. About 3,000, not even a full 3K separating these teams. Fine, okay, caught out, lots of damage. Gets onto the Somersault Cloud. Based on where he's standing, where he's landing. The team doesn't want the fight, and they're going to play it safe. Ward coverage, pretty deep, pretty solid for the Titans right now. And that's going to be the call to start up the FG.
It's going quick.
Scream has ult. And that has been used for the burn as of late. Takes a lot of damage, though. Has to fall back out of the FG pit. Now the Manticores step forward. Manticores in control.
Going
Have
fast.
the damage. Get themselves a Fire Giant enhanced at that. They need to get out and stay alive. Healing for Jake keeps him up. He goes into his ult now. Does he engage? Where's his team go with him? And it is in! They are looking for a little bit more, and it's a delivery special for Panatom. Finds the damage and gets himself a double. Great kills for the Manticores as they chase it down right. 2 left alive for the Titans. But with an EFG, Phoenix should be pretty easy to
wouldn't.
knock
He
down
would.
Panatom into the base
He
with a
wouldn't.
triple. Looking for one more. The Fountain thwarts him from the Quadra, but does not stop his team. Titan under siege, and a 2-0 lead for the Manticores.
That's another play set up by Dardes, though. Doesn't ride the ultimate with Jake. Says, look, I'll set us up. Chases out, finds the double stun, and makes sure to the skies. Delivers them right where they need to be. The Manticores now. Set point. Things starting to get a little bit juicy here.
We've seen 2 back-to-back Hebo support games. Maybe that's where some of the change happens.
I thought it was, but it couldn't be. The coach would have said something.
The build did change. Well, hold on. We already talked about where he is in his job,
Yeah.
right?
Be careful.
Yeah, the coach and the Titans. He's maybe sweating a little bit in the hot seat right now. Where the draft is going, where they're going with their play, a lot of it right now, honestly, just has to come to setup. I mean, the play and engage, right? Jumping into that FG pit when they did, falling back and having just enough healing for Jake to then bring them back into it. That kind of helps out a lot when you can just kind of keep re-engaging at time after time after time.
Yeah, just keep taking every single fight, but would Jake have gone or not gone into that fight under any circumstance? Can you think of anything that would have made Jake not want to go in there?
Honestly, I thought he was not going to, but then his health bar got higher. And honestly, even if it had stayed where it was like that much.
Only thing that would have stopped him is the grayscale.
Still would have got in, yeah.
You got to kill Jake if you want to prevent that from happening.
And unfortunately for them, unable to, gets Panatom right where they need him. Now the Manticore's up 2-0. We'll see. Can they close it out at 3? Will we get a little bit of a surprise from the Titans? We'll find out right after this.
This is me, I'm so royal, and you all wanna be round. Yeah, you all wanna be round. Round a champion, a champion. I got tons of soul on my true collectible. Famous, also famous, #1 desirable. I do what I want when I want and how I want it. Leave you with the one in yeah, that's how I roll. I got change to throw, I don't care about no gold. Better, so much better, flipping incredible. Always on the show, so they know that I still got it. And I never feel sorry, yeah, top of the world. This is me, I'm so royal, and you all wanna be round. Yeah, you all wanna be round. Round a champion, a champion. This is me, I still on it. Cause you all wanna be loved. Yeah, you all wanna be loved. But a champion, a champion. When I hear him come like my fuse and then ba-bum. Later, see you later, I'm about to blow this up. You can sing my song if you want, I know you want it. It's always kinda funny, yeah, cause I know I'm a superstar in the sky to lead you on. Haters gonna hate us, approve of how they love. They can bring me down, nah. They are jealous of me and my umbrella, yeah, they love me so. This is me, I'm so royal, and you all wanna be round. Yeah, you all wanna be round. Round a champion, a champion. This is me, I still on it. Cause you all wanna be loved. Yeah, you all wanna be loved. But a champion, yeah. All I wanna do is just say, you don't understand how I play. I am in my way to win you over and over, yeah. Oh, you can hear my voice in your head, and you wanna hear it again. So you play it over and over
We had questions how the Titans draft would work in Game 2 after seeing everything presented to us, and I'll be honest, it looked a lot better, especially in the support role. The Hebo actually looked really strong this game. A changeup of the build from Genetics seemed to have worked really well for the team, but unfortunately, those changeups plus all that still doesn't stop the absolute typhoon of a character and player that Panatom is, and it felt like he just ran the show on this set all game long.
I mean, I do agree with the end of your analysis, but to say that the Hebo looked real strong.
No,
like,
I'm not saying it looked real strong. I'm saying
stronger.
it looked better.
Yes.
He wasn't 1 in 11.
I mean, 1 is bigger than 0. Yes, I'm not saying that much. But, yeah, you're right. Panatom, of course. I mean, he popped off. It was very enjoyable to watch. I'm certainly not going to say that the Hebo looked fantastic, but you're right. I liked the change-up in the build. Besides the teleport, I never really saw the teleport come in clutch, which wasn't just change-up. It was the exact same. But my point is, I never really saw it pay off. I got to be honest. I don't know how much Vile was able to grab that wasn't Panatom in the replays. I'm pretty excited to see what else there is. I imagine it's going to be a lot of this, though, from what we were able to see. It was a whole lot of set cleaning up kills, getting a Blood Forge shield, and then going to more kills. Oh, Final K was in this game.
Oh, something that's not. No, okay, nope, that's Panatom kill.
This is just Panatom kills from a different
Wait, here
angle.
we go. Oh no, there we go. There's the Final K one. Yeah, we're watching Panatom from other players' perspectives. No, it wasn't this one. It was another Barracuda moment. It was like 12 minutes or so in the game. It was probably my favorite of the game. Not because of any of the actual plays that happened, but it was watching Barracuda's player cam. It was when Vote tried to go for the solo kill. He missed the dash on Ishtar and slammed into a wall, and Barracuda starts busting out laughing. And then Panatom ganks his lane, kills Barra, and his face is a full one, and he's like, oh, well, that wasn't so fun. Like, come on, man. I'm over here having a little bit of a giggle, and all of a sudden Panatom's just ganking my lane again for the 8th time this game. But no, Panatom.
No one went positive but Panatom? No one?
That's crazy. 15-2. This game right here is one that you would see somebody put up on like SMITE Twitter and say, I lost this game, by the way, after putting like a 15-2. It's just like, this is what I deal with in my ranked game.
But he didn't lose.
But he won.
Yeah, just be like Panatom. How hard can it be to get 15-2 kills while the rest of your team goes negative?
Hey, instead of going like 113-6, Genex went 1-6-13. That's an improvement.
That is an improvement. You're right. You don't want your support last hit in those kills. He got 3 items online and a starter. So leaps and bounds were jumped at this point. Am I gonna say that I want to see the Hebo support back? No. You couldn't pay me. He tried. He slipped me money.
He
said,
definitely tried.
No, he didn't really. But in that regard, I do think that the Titans once again had opportunities to win. They had opportunities to control the fights. It was just this time around late game, they didn't have answers for set. I do think Final K was creating some space, as you would expect. Awesome Jake had, again, everyone was negative, but that wasn't really the whole story of the game. It was a lot of last hitting by Panatom. Of course, he did tons of damage, but hey, I believe Dardes did even more. So there was still plenty of DPS to help out the set and try and facilitate him.
It's funny that there were more positive KDs on the losing team than there was on the winning team. I think it was both Scream and Haddix who went positive or at least even. Meanwhile, as we said, Panatom the only one positive on the Manticore side, but that's the only one that needed to matter at that point because it's now 2-0 so far for the Manticores. We jump into game number 3. If the Manticores win this, they move on to face off against the Minotaurs in the grand finals tomorrow. Titans need to make a reverse sweep if they want to move on in the winner side bracket. Otherwise, they fall down into the 3rd place match that will happen up against the Juggernaut. Starting out tomorrow, best of 3 between those ones, see who gets the 3rd and the 4th place spot. But as we jump through the picks and bans here, or I should say at least the banning phase, Charlie, not a whole lot of differences made here. The one difference is that Aphrodite got let through by the Titans. Was banned in game 1, banned in game 2. Titans going to leave that one up here now for the Manticores in game 3.
Well, at the very least, the Manticores can't get Afro set, unless the Titans don't want to let that through, right? Because the Manticores can only grab 1 here, so that's my mindset, right? Hey, if they grab Afro, Titans get set. If they grab the set, Titans could get Afro. If they value that pick, if Genetics is even going to touch that pick, because so far he has only shown the likelihood of grabbing the Hebo. With that being said, the Manticores are going to grab the Scylla.
First pick?
Not something that I've seen in Darda's wheelhouse too often. I will say, Awesome Jake plays a mean Scylla support in ranked. And maybe he's trying to get a little bit more like Genetics. Maybe that's the mindset here. I'm not going to immediately take the first Scylla we've seen in ages and say that's a support pick, because I really do want to see it in mid, because Scylla is just so fun to watch and, of course, to cast. I'm doing this for Gore and Myth. I'm trying to manifest it in mid lane.
We're willing the Scylla mid into existence for them.
But I would not be putting money on it that it's going to be mid. I wouldn't doubt that Jake would take that support.
Currently a Fafnir hover for the Titans, along with Freya. Freya, we've seen some flexibility with her already. We've seen some Hunter play during the regular season, and earlier today we saw Oath take that pick into the jungle, so I will say flexibility, at least with that character. Fafnir, not so much. We've only seen him support, to my knowledge, throughout the course of his lifetime. I don't think we've seen him brought in competitively in mid, solo, or wherever else it may be. So this might be the first, I guess, traditional support pick we've seen from Genetics if this one gets locked in for the Titans, and it does. So
Stop messing around, man. That's not going to Genetics.
So I hesitate to say that this feels like this is Genetics' pick, because he's not done a normal pick for the first 2 games. So maybe hopes that this is a return to normality, but I'm not going to get my hopes too high.
You shouldn't. I have no idea where it's going. I wouldn't be surprised if anyone took this pick, to be honest with you. Yeah, Scream Jungle makes complete sense. I mean, Big Man Tink just played Chalk. I could see that as well, so I'm not going to lock that down at all. With that being said, the only thing I can guarantee is that it's probably not going to Genetics. That's the only thing that I'm like locking it in my head, is that it's going to go anywhere but there. With that being said, though, if we are trying to put Awesome Jake on the Scylla, which my brain has done, would it really be Vote trying to take the Jingwei?
No, we're good.
Okay.
I saw it hovered, and immediately my brain went, oh, come on, Barracuda, not this, but it was on the Manticores, so we were fine. I jokingly walked in, and when we were talking to Barry, sitting on the couch, I say, Barry, I swear, for this For Fun tournament, you lock in Jingwei, man. And he just started laughing with me, but won't see the Jingwei at least yet, or maybe at all. Instead, it's Set and Tiamat for the Manticores. So once again, we see the Set return to what will likely be Panatom. And we see another pick that FinalK has been running in his ranked games, potentially over in the solo lane. He's run this tank Tiamat. I'm not going to lie. When I played the Tiamat in our playtest yesterday, I kind of based it off of watching that video too. Look, man, it just pops up on my feed. Subscribe to all of our SPL players who do put content out there. It's great. I've been watching a ton of the different SPL content that's come out from either current or former players.
Well, that's good, first and foremost. But are we going to see 4 ADCs in Fafnir?
That would be crazy.
I don't want to will it into existence, but it would be kind of fun.
Follow jungle?
Especially because we know the Fafnir is going damage. Like, that's not Genetics. I'm sure of it. Like, it's got to be something else. At this point, I would probably, out of these 3, I'd say he's most likely to play the Freya. I don't think he's taking the Apollo. I think he's taking the Freya support. And then, yeah, maybe Scream on the Fafnir. But 4 auto attackers and Fafnir, and just like Bracer, Frenzy, spawning, just sitting there at objectives when they spawn in. Could be a fun time. Could be a strat. You got to watch out for the burst damage that not only the Set and the Tiamat can provide, but that Scylla. Objective steals are still very viable with that composition like that.
Now we see where the rest of the draft goes. Titans, Banaway Bologna, and Nike, Manticores, Jingwei, and Uller. So even they don't want to see Barracuda play his signature pick. E-Set gets locked in.
That's not an auto attacker.
That's not. But that is confirmation at the very least around an objective. If you're building at damage, otherwise if you're building support, after like 10 minutes, you're not the hardest hitting ability on the map to be able to confirm that kind of stuff. But we'll have to see where this E-Set goes. Potential in mid, at the very least. If you want to throw it over to Big Man Tings, he's one that's been playing this kind of a pick, but man, just based off the history of the Titans, I'm and just how many times you've now said it, I'm not convinced as to where this Fafnir is going, so maybe we even see this one go over to support. Or is that too normal?
That would make too much sense, man.
That'd be too normal.
Yeah, I think that would be too normal for what Genetics has shown us. I'm still putting him with the Freya for the time being. We will see as the full... When I get the full draft, I'll let my brain cook on it for a while, but for now, that's the mindset. At the very least, I think Barra takes the Apollo. That's kind of safe.
Wait, what? Okay, so double mage.
So Scylla support.
Triple assassin. Okay, so Scylla plus who? Scylla set? Scylla set duo? Tiamat?
No,
no.
yeah, Panatom wouldn't play set twice.
Nah, he would. Maybe? No.
I don't think you want to play the same god twice. So I think we switch that one up. I think it's going to be Scylla and Tsukuyomi. And then, you know, as you said, Tiamat solo. Sure, that works for me. Set mid, Kali, whatever role I didn't say. Done. Boom. Analyzed.
All right.
You're welcome.
So now where the Titans go is the question, because it's triple ADC for the Titans, ESET and Fafnir. Do we see Genetics actually go on to an actual support Guardian, support God in general, or do we see something different?
Okay,
I'm
so
sure we're getting pings from our production team here. Do you want to be the one to break the news, or do you want me
I have
to?
good news. I was
Okay.
100% right about the Manticores.
Oh, you were? Yeah.
I was
Okay.
wrong. Barra is not taking that Apollo. He's going to take the Artemis, unfortunately, but everything
Okay.
else was right. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. Not the 4 auto attackers in the Fafnir, just the 3. They're going to have some great objective play. We'll have to see if that translates into team fights. That's what I'm curious to find out. Not to say that the Manticore's team fight is also that solid, right? You're going to have triple assassin with 2 mages in the back.
This is arena.
Yep.
In the truest sense.
But hey, the Manticores are up 2-0 in this arena, man. So that's what you got to remember. They've got all the momentum on their side.
That's fair. Now, just to give the insight to the audience, because I don't know if their predictions are still able to go through, if they still have some time, so I'll try and rifle through these real quick. Set ADC, Scylla support, so there's the duo lane for the Manticores, and you have Tsukuyomi mid, Kali jungle, and the Tiamat solo. There's your Manticores draft. And for the Titans, as mentioned, it's going to be Artemis ADC with Freya support. It'll then be the Apollo in mid, ESET jungle, and Fafnir solo. So if the predictions are still available, I don't know if that sways any of your votes at all, but there's how the full rosters break down. Does that sway your opinion, Trelly, on potential win factor here for the Titans? Do you think that this is a game where they can win and take us to game 4, or do you think the Manticores run away with this 3-0?
I mean, I imagine that the Manticores are going to do what they've been doing throughout the entirety of this entire set, right? They're going to sit back. They're going to, you know, play about as well as they can, see if Panatom can get some early kills, and then eventually the Titans will do something that throws. Whether that be Genetics pushes up too far, whether that be, you know, Barra gets ganked and just gets sat on. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, but it seems to the Manticores have made it their business to just sit back and hope that the Titans make some mistakes.
Well, the Manticore is going to hope to see if the Titans make a mistake 3 games in a row, or can the Titans actually bring themselves a victory? Let's jump right into game number 3 with Gordon Myth.
Well, that's going to be their goal. Otherwise, this portion of the tournament is done for them. They'd play tomorrow in the 3rd, 4th place match. And Genetics is dead to the Order Tower on the left-hand side of the map.
on purpose, you think? Or
well, it surely has to be the way that worked out. He walked in, took 2 shots, stepped out, stepped in, took another shot. So, I hear Chelly in the back saying he was juking his, being Kali's target.
Oh, dude, Trelly's so smart, dude.
Dude, that boom, analyze.
Dude, and ESET passive probably. That's a direct one from me. You know, so me and Trelly together.
Yeah,
doing some
y'all
analysis.
worked real hard together on that one. You got to the same conclusion
Yeah.
and figured it out.
One of them's probably right.
Yeah, and honestly, it's the one you contributed 100% to.
faux show,
which was
faux show.
definitely the Kali target thing. Trelly said something weird about ESET passive.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Other way.
Nah, man, don't you remember?
You're right. All right. Okay. I'm locked in. Gore?
Yes, sir.
What if we
You're
go
locked in.
what if we go hard on this cast? What if we what if we take it super serious?
Like World's Final Series, or do you want to dial?
Like, I-
not that high. Okay.
Like just super serious.
just super serious.
Nah, not maintainable. Not maintainable, bro. I'm gonna see Scream's gonna walk into tower and it's just not gonna be maintainable. I can't do it.
I think we could maintain it.
Alright, let's go.
Well, here we are in Game 3, the best of 5 against Manticores and Titans. Winner for the Manticores moves forward, gets their role all captains tomorrow for a little bit. We might have to hold that Scream, taking some damage. Panatom with a nice leap on him, hits himself the kill, and now might have a little bit more. The stun's good, Not enough of a lockdown on the Apollo. The range, though, working out pretty well between him
Oh my
and the
God.
Tsukiyomi. The bleed damage, it's going to tick down, but it's not going to be enough. That is control in the mid lane for the Manticores.
And what Scream isn't taking into account there is the fact that he elects to go towards that blink in first slot, Gore. It's just such a hyper-aggressive selection. Leaves him highly susceptible to all that CC lockdown, the slows, the caltrops from Dardes, completely controlling the pathing. And that's not even taking into account the perfect execution from Panatom to connect that lead.
Oh, Dardes does get punished. No, the autos, they're not connecting. He jukes
Nuh-uh.
out the damage. He stays alive and makes the Titans look a fool with the movement in mid. Same thing can be said. Manticores in left narrowly avoid death. And Mifflin, after a set where the beginnings of the games have been very much Titans controlled. We're still only 2 minutes in. Maybe I have to pump the brakes a little bit, but still not boding well for what the Titans have anticipated here. Genetics with the whoop, lockdown onto
Oh my
Jake,
God.
has to be the damage, but the Sentinel, no! The tick over is just not enough to get away. And unfortunate for him, despite a great escape, falls down mid, damage up. Panatom looking for some more. 2-0 for the jungler, kills off Tings, and cements the team up 2-1.
Man, there's just so much to go into there, Gore. The combo in the dual lane, Freya whoop into Artemis trap. I mean, that is just guaranteed damage every single time. Even with Jake getting that Sentinel to get away, it's that Artemis trap, the Transgressor's Fate.
Yeah.
Actually applies dot damage, fun fact. So he just bleeds out on the way out. Unfortunate for Jake. That's an early tumble in the dual lane, which will put Genetics in an advantageous spot. Genetics, of course, not used to that throughout this tournament so far. Has really been struggling with this new team on the Titans here. Now with Freya and a half-level lead, getting that early scaling going into a great late-game pick. Gotta think it's going to line up well for him. Otherwise, though, you got to control the real problem child. And for the Manticores, well, I suppose for the Titans, I should say, it's Panatom. This guy has been absolutely decimating every single game so far. And a 2-0 start similar to the Frey on the other side. Late game scaling, high octane early. That late game is going to come much faster.
You have to wonder, I mean, you had alluded to it, right? Leaving former teammate Tings, finding himself back on a team with Tings. Maybe animosity right now has been the problem for the Titans. Although I would say it's pressure from Triple Assassin, something we got to see a little bit in the Gauntlet just a few weeks ago. The kills aren't happening anymore, though. Crush, slow, good banish. Here's the I'm a Monster, charged up, slammed down onto Baron, not enough to get the kill, but Panatom just walks in and scoops it clean. Getting low himself, has to play carefully. Silence from Scream, not on the mark. Stun, not
man.
on the mark. Panatom breaks his ankles and makes him feel, oh, just oh so foolish. Does force the ult thanks to the Apollo rotation, but the Kali stays alive, 3-0. Has 100% of the Manticores kills.
Man, Panatom does not share, and why would you? Just such a lead on this Kali already. And it's going to farm so much faster than what Scream's able to do on this E set. Even if PvP were to cease entirely from here, let's say the game slows down to a snail's pace, you're not exactly going to keep up with the Golden Blade.
Well, Dardes right now, a sticky situation,
Oh,
but has
no.
assistance. What a blink! What a stun from Panatom! Dardes gets the kill, but we know that work comes from the Kali. Call drops down. A little bit too late. Ranged autos are great, but what felt like just an unfortunate teleport back, an unfortunate ult for Dardes, putting him between two of the Titans. Unpunished, and instead turned around. 1-0-2 for the mid laner there. An assist on the board for Panatom. The Kali right now, Mifflin. You know, we had talked about it earlier. You had said it. Sometimes there are gods that are just ticking time bombs. And you had mentioned it for the Shiva because it's the opposite. It's because you only have them for a little while. Kali's the other way, and it feels like with 3 kills, level 7 already up, over Scream, plus the team, I mean, starting to approach 2,000 gold 5 minutes in. This is feeling like Panatom could make a big difference.
And even just not even taking into account the tangibles, we have to, though, as Jake. A bit of trouble here. Early cancels the ultimate, but Transgressor Fate dot just enough to knock him down, even with Vote nearby. Can't do a whole lot to help out his ally there. We've taken into account the tangibles, and all of them are leaning towards the Manticores right now. Gold, experience, scaling, all look very good for them.
Yeah.
But what about the intangibles, Gore? What about the off-the-field stuff, the things that we don't get to see so often as the fans? What about the interpersonal relationships of this team? The Titans are a highly emotional squad, and I had got a chance between the matches here to sit down with young Sprack. That's Scream, the ESET jungle, on the right side of your screen right now. And he had said to me 2 words. Gord, you know, you were there. Do you remember them?
I don't remember them.
He said
Sorry.
2 things. No help. No
Yeah, that
help.
is true.
That's all he had to share. Genetics is ulting walls. Barracuda's head isn't in it. He's so old. Haddix is too chill. Big Man Tings is across the pond. He had a lot of things to share there. But at 0-2-0, you got to think with his vocal dissent of his team and now not even backing it up with performance, there's got to be some butting heads in that booth.
You have to imagine. Especially, I mean, a no-help call like that on an Anubis jungle.
This early in the set as well.
I mean,
it's a best of 5. There could be 3 more here.
He's walking into that booth already feeling down.
Yeah.
And I think that's starting to translate, like you said, 0-2-0. Couple of goose eggs where you don't want them. And it's control right now for the Manticores, let alone what we've been talking about. The Titans, unfortunately, for what's been going on draft-wise. I mean, we talked a little bit about the coach, but maybe leaving a little more wanting, and it might be an 0-3-0. Circle of Protection gets a little bit of healing here, and just enough disengage from the Wing Gust to make sure that Scream is safe under the Tier 1 tower. Although safe, when Panatom's around and has ult ready, is a very trivial word. Right now going for one of the Bastions. It seems like that's where, you know, again, for the Manticores, pump the brakes. Approaching 8 minutes in. Still trying to fight for a 2,000 gold lead are the Manticores, but not quite able to get there. Level lead in mid, level deficit in support, but pretty much everywhere else has some sort of control. Unfortunately for Jake, those 2 deaths caused by the same thing, and it's Barra with well-placed traps. And earlier, me and you had actually been talking about the fact that Artemis, in a typical game, doesn't necessarily have the best clear of the hunters. I know that was a big discussion point, I think, brought up by J-Mac and Trelly at that time. And we had never got a real, true, concise decision on that, but with the lockdown that we're getting right now, great ult from Jake, unfortunately. Just shy of doing any damage and getting the kill.
Playing in the wave.
So low, and there's the auto, but Vote dies off in return. Genetics versus Jake. Genetics still has the ult. Valkyrie's discretion gets the damage out there. Pulse comes in, and then the dunk from Tings from mid finds a kill, ties this up 5-5.
And this is an issue the Manticore is going to have to butt up against so often throughout the rest of this match is you could take out Barracuda, you could take out Big Man Tings, you could take out Genetics, but if you don't take out all 3, there's always going to be an ADC. Physical or magical, it doesn't matter. The auto attackers here are always going to have the damage output, and it's something the desk had actually brought up, Gore, was the ability of this composition of the Titans to absolutely tear through neutral objectives. Thanks to that triple auto attacker composition, bolstered even further by Haddix on this Fafnir. So the ability to come back is built into the draft. We're looking at a 2,000 some odd gold lead. Let's call it 1,500. That's Gold Fury. Grab a Pyromancer, and they should be able to do that easily. The only non-auto attacker is also the best secure in the game in the ESET. Circle Protection doesn't just stop Sea Bears, it also gets you everything on the map.
And it does balance out. I mean, a lot of the conversation we'll have, at least I like to look at when there's mages. I have to hold on a bit. Fine, okay. Getting pressured in lane. There's a Circle of Protection pop and a kill on the board for Scream with the last of his mana. Puts the Titans in the kill lead, despite still being 1,000 gold behind. The Beacon fight in 2 minutes should be pretty eye-opening with how these are going. But the one thing that Circle of Protection brings that, you know, so often comes with mages, at least in this day and age, bursts. I mean, we have not seen the confirm around some of these objectives, and you needed something to combat a Scylla, right? When you have something like that locked in. And so it does feel like we're maybe going a little bit into like days of yore in terms of confirmation. Better timed mage ults could be a huge deal. But Mifflin, that brings me to ask you about these builds, which is a Thebes immediate first item for Jake, which kind of slows down what I would expect from a Scylla in terms of damage.
Yeah, but when you take into account some of the passive and how it plays in on Scylla, you don't necessarily need to build all your damage in itemization.
Good point.
You're going to get some of it just by leveling up your abilities. So what does Jake do in his infinite wisdom? But instead make perfect use of that by also bolstering his allies. Gauntlet of Thieves, AoE, aura defense for every ally nearby. and he's not even sacrificing too much in damage. And you can see it. It's not an overcommitment to defense either, because why would you decide defense or offense when you could just do both? Restored Artifact in second slot. Jake has always been a trendsetter, a pilgrim, an absolute pilgrim of itemization.
And you have to imagine
he's
this is
proven
like
it here.
standard.
This is.
Chronos Pendant, something that he's gone to time and time again.
Loves that item.
And you'll pry it from his cold dead hands when he finally wants to let go. Seems like he's on board with that one more time. But we are seeing, and I think a maybe discussion to be had around this, right, is not just whether or not Jake's tankiness and I guess maybe balance of damage is going to be there, as he does now finish off that Chronos Pendant, get to rejoin the game. But also maybe the question of what these teams are going to do. Slow down is the pace so far from the Manticores in the first 5 minutes. Same to be said for the Titans. Because I believe the first time this set, we haven't had a kill count either higher or equal to the minutes. Maybe a few minutes there in game 1, maybe early game 2 that balance those out. But with the beacon started up, Titans in control. Again, backs against the wall, and they're going to go ahead and get the first beacon on board for this game. Looking for a little more. Haddix is rotated in. Unable to find a stun, throws the hammer out for some clear.
Oh, what's going on left?
But you have to imagine this is going to be a little bit more. Barra looking for Panatom, unable to find the slow. But you had mentioned auto attackers with a Fafnir. And I guess just the global Tings crashes down, forces the ult for Panatom. Haddix with the chase down, looking for the kill.
Still
Blink
alive? Nope.
over the wall from Scream. And they find the lockdown they've been looking for. Jake trying to find a kill onto Barra. Ult isn't enough damage. With Genetics hanging around, it's just not the opening. Now that you know I'm a Monster is down, you have the auto attackers, you have a Coerce, you have the burn, and the Titans able to pick up that Fury and maybe another kill to boot. Dardes going forward with the Tsukiyomi, the piercing moon, finds Barra, but puts him in a bad spot. Scream scoops him up, 3-2-0 for the jungler. And after we called him out earlier, he's looking to add even more on the board. Great whoop from Genetics and a kill towards Tings. Puts 2-1 and 2 for the Apollo, and another in the ground on the Manticores.
Far be it from me to ever call into question the mental fortitude of this Titan squad ever again, man. Let's just talk about the micro decision making on display there. We had been hypothesizing all of the last 13 minutes who's securing the objectives here. We knew the burn belonged to the Titans, but who's going to grab it? We said Scream. Scream says, not necessary. I don't need it. We have so many auto attackers that one of them surely secures it with said auto attacks. And he was correct. Gold Fury over to the Titans, not requiring circle protection. What does he use it for? Instant pops it for 150 damage onto a tank. And that's the type of just absolutely mind-boggling decision making that only the absolute cream of the crop is capable of coming up with. That's why he's the God King Emperor 5Ms. That right there is what earns you a title like that. Completely changing the landscape of that entire engagement. Now, the Manticores are shaken, not only because they had taken 150 damage from an instant pop circle protection, but also because who's got the gall to even make a decision like that? That X factor, that difference maker, that absolute wild card is what Scream brings to teams. This ESET jungle is a statement piece.
And honestly, he could keep owning it. Not a single other player is bringing ESET into the jungle.
No one else.
Maybe a signature in the making here for Scream. So they set up Jake.
Is that a trap over wall? That was actually sick.
Strong moment. CC immunity avoids out the stun from Scream. Unfortunately, the damage is still there. Tings comes crashing down, Sentinel over the wall, and a crush for a slow to the rotation. Barra not going to leave this alone and instead play to his goddess's title. Try to be a hunter. Unfortunately, just drops it. So Jake does not get away scot-free. No way, there's the whoop. Now the pulse, a blink even from Genetics just to showcase he's got what it takes.
He could have walked.
3-1 and 4.
Yeah, I mean, that's just mechanical mastery on display. Could he have walked while Jake was in the whoop? Yes. Would it have been as concerning as that? No.
Scream. He's the target. Full heal. ready and waiting for Panatom, but unable to find it. Now Dardes chase down mid. You need a couple more shots from Genetics, making up for the Hebo games. He's 4-1-4, and he's going to keep on ticking assists and kills as long as he can. Now has to fall back as Haddix. The rest of the team getting aggressive. Genetics leading the way. And on a rampage, 5 in a row. And it's not ending anytime soon. Falls back to the waiting arms of his team, a shell, to make sure he stays alive. And a nice retreat from the Titans, 13-7, Mifflin. Still 300 gold behind.
It's a dash forward from Awesome Jake. He's got eyes for Barracuda, the beef clearly on display, but it's Scream who hits pay dirt first, knocks down the 408. Circle protection, one more. It's just for the heal. Scream's different.
Just made. I mean, look, we said it. We took the Emperor away. I think we got to give it back. God King Emperor, 5 M's, showing up in force. Was 0-2-0, now is 4-2-4 for his team. The Titans tightening things up as we get through 17 minutes.
But what can they do now? What is left on the map for the Titans to conquer? What is left for these absolute behemoths on the battleground to lay siege to? Pyromancer off the map. Stygian Beacon's available. Perhaps that's the next POI that attracts these geniuses. On the left-hand side of the map, Dardes, first to make an appearance, but don't count out the Titans. They're always doing something. There's always something to do. It's the Fire Giant. This has worked twice now. Can they do it a third game in a row?
Oh, they're going to get spotted out. Fine, okay, nearby. Shots out. Titans confirm the fire. Fine, okay, has to leap away. Dardes, Jake, caught out. Dash forward from Tings, leading the way onto the Tsukiyomi stun. Good from Scream. The damage needs to be there, but Piercing Moonlight zooms him around and leaves him stranded behind the Titans' lines. They kill him off, get aggressive in mid. Now, knowing that's Vote, split pushing, over and left, looking for a tier 2 to respond to the one the Titans are starting to threaten now. Tier 1 in mid, taken down, no problem. They're going to move forward. This is where those auto attackers come in handy, Mifflin. Titans knock down the tier 2 and are finally in control of the gold lead as well as their kill lead.
But what can you grab now? Tier 2's gone, but respawns are low. Dardes 3 seconds. Jake over aggressive. One more bit of damage is all it takes.
Can't find it.
What a
Panatom
whoop.
finds a stun, but like you said, a beautiful whoop. Jake does get chased down, does get killed off. Fine, okay. Isolated and slammed into the grave. Panatom, low health. Ult available if needed, but he should be able to make it back to the fountain. Dardes, Vote, playing a little carefully here as the Titans throw caution to the wind, get aggressive. Phoenix in mid, exposed and killed. Do they go any further? They're going to go ahead and call it stops right here. 3 towers still remaining on the Manticore side of the map. 3 towers still remaining for the Titans. With the Phoenix gone, 19 minutes in, the Titans have a distinct advantage.
Maybe just grab yourself that Fury on the way out. Stygian Beacon too, still on the map. Been a while since anyone had time to charge it up. Primal Fury's going quickly. Only one even remotely in range is Jake, and Jake would make a mistake in stepping forward there. So, the Death Cry will signify the end of the Fury that Stygian Beacon charged to. He said now the Titans have done just about everything they can. The only scrap remaining is the Pyromancer, and the Manticores, like vultures, take it for themselves. 2 Runic Bombs in pocket. So that's 2,000 true damage on structure or neutral objective in the future. Does that match up with circle protection, triple auto attack, Fafnir composition? Maybe not, but you just got to throw them off balance once.
Can we like time out the bit for a second?
Yeah, well, we could stop it.
Wait, but like, do you think we're doing good, or do you like?
No.
Where does it?
No.
Well, I don't know, man. There were some moments in there. I was hooked. You were telling me how great Scream was once.
Did I?
I think.
He's a pilgrim, that guy. Trailblazer.
You might have said those exact words. That's
Do you think Sino's is like punching air when we're saying that it's his signature pick?
Yes.
Yeah, Sino hated that for
yeah,
sure.
that I think like when we hit that period of like let's go like super hyperbolic with it, that was probably the best part of that.
Okay.
Which is like I wanted to hit like the timeout because I was like, what if like maybe like is that what we should just be doing?
Oh, God. All the
It's
time.
like everything is just the best that we've ever seen.
That's like essentially what anime is, right? It's just the
Yeah.
most hyperbolic
Well,
thing
and
at
anime
any given
got
time.
a lot of fans, and
do,
it gets
yeah.
a lot of views. So like, are we like unlocking something?
I'll do anything for views, bro.
Honestly, we've got video proof to showcase that. You know what? Unpause, untimeout. We'll see if it works here. Panatom with the best Kali ult in the world unfortunately dies because Dardez's ult. I've lost the fight. We're going to reset here. Dardez instead chasing around where Barracuda's at low health for the Artemis.
That might be
but
game.
stays alive. Might be 30 seconds without most of the Manticores vote versus the world. And they might just kill him off right here, right now. He's going to stay alive. Off to the side. Unable to channel
they're
his back
going in.
because Stings is there. They're going to walk in and set themselves up for it.
they
Going
have a
up
wave?
against the Titan. They don't have the wave. They're just going to try to channel it. Vote comes around, kills off Barra, looks for a
Hero
little extra
moment.
damage, gets whooped up into the air. Genetics buys them time, dies off. They might be able to do it. How much damage do they have?
Yeah, that's
for
it.
the next 5 seconds, they just have to find the autos. They have to not die, and they do it. They push us to 4. And the Titans make sure they're not goose-egged in this tournament.
Digging deep are the Titans. No one knocks them down 3 times in a row. You have to absolutely earn it against this squad. Now in a Game 4 adaptations, we were on fraud watch for their coach. I'm thinking maybe some of those allegations have been beat.
And maybe we're the front. Oh, no.
No, don't
Has he
say
turned
that.
it around?
Don't say that.
No, it's not impossible for him. Instead, it is the Titans who have won this game, and Mifflin balanced things out. Look, they tried real hard in games 1 and 2. They were up there, making sure that they could control as much as they want. All falls apart this time around for the Manticores. What ruins it for them? Where's
Unbridled
it fall
aggression.
apart?
Unbridled aggression is really all it was. It was a run-it-down game there. And one team was doing all the running and the downing.
Yeah, and the other team was also running, but like back towards their base,
Yeah, well,
scared.
yeah, they were in a body
because the
bag.
other team was doing it better.
For real.
For real. And that's where the Titans win and find themselves now 2-1. One more win ties us up, pushes us to 5.
I would love that. I would love that. Little 10-game return to the SPL boys.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want that?
Back-to-back 5-game bangers. Of course, all for the right to draft a team for next week.
Snake draft.
Where money is on the line.
That's right.
Right. So that's what they're playing for, is the right to draft, whether first or second, really, be captains of their teams. We'll see how well they do that here. The Titans make this a 2-1. Of course, all of that right after this.
Master of life and death takes front stage. Let's liven things up, shall we? Come, the party's this way.
That's right. The Baron's Brew is available thanks to our good friends over at Advanced GG. If you go over to advanced.gg, you yourself can pick up your very own Baron's Brew flavor shaker.
What's good? What's good?
You can pick up the Baron's Brew flavor right now over at advanced.gg. Use code SMITE. You can get yourself 10% off of not just the Baron's Brew, but anything else that you want to purchase from Advanced GG. So thank you so much to Advanced GG for joining us here in Season 10 of the SMITE Pro League. Now that I've got my words, never mind, I don't have my words. I'm J-Mac. I got Charlie to help me talk words better. As we talk about game number 3, good Lord, I am losing it, Charlie.
I think you're a little bit shaken.
I'm shaken by the
About
insane performance of Scream.
Scream's performance and
Right.
Mifflin's cast.
And
Those
Mifflin's
two things
cast.
are still shaking you to your core, and I understand because that was a
I need to
legacy
recenter.
performance.
I need
There's
to
no doubt
recenter my
about it.
focus.
Recenter your focus? Yeah, you should do that. And while you do that, I'll tell you about how great that comp actually was. We were questioning the Fafnir solo, the triple auto attackers on top of the E-set jungle. We didn't know how it was going to flow. Turns out the Freya support came out swinging. It seemed to me like the synergy was also there between Genetics and Bear. They finally found a comp that could really mesh together. In this case, the E-set jungle we definitely had some questions about, but Scream was pretty on point as far as the ults go. He was using them at objectives, but not really for confirmation. More so for that team fight presence that it can provide. A decent heal for his team. Some nice damage as well. I was really liking what the Titans were cooking up there. I thought maybe Pantom was going to be able to run away with the game, but then I saw instant kill into
That was cool.
comeback, instant death again. So it was just a real rough stop to the Kali. The momentum was pretty much just thwarted all at once.
Yeah, it really felt like the heals from Scream for those ultimates, as you mentioned, not really used for objective confirmation, not really used for an insane amount of damage, but just those small heals to pull allies away from that potential knockdown of the Kali target there. Panatom just really couldn't get a whole lot going on the Kali this game. Did get a nice early first blood kill over in mid lane, but outside of that, really didn't get a whole lot of momentum, kind of ramping up there for the Manticore side. And it's the Titans at the end who were able to take their first game of the set and now take us to game number 4. 2-0-13 for Haddix on the Fafnir, but Genetics kind of stealing the show on the Freya support. 15,000 player damage, 6-1-11 to round this one out. Started with the Pythags rush again from himself in that support role, boosting himself and Barracuda, but mostly just boosting himself up.
Yeah, that's what he was really about. Sometimes you gotta just play for yourself selfishly when you're the support player, especially when you're a Freya in that support role, and you gotta play for your own kills. So I guess that was the call. Last hit as much as possible. Sure, you'll get some auras, but that's mostly so you can use them yourself. And I respect that because I think Genetics was having a much better time. I like the switch up. If it's between Freya and Hebo, Freya all the way, at least in my mind.
Yeah, so far the Freya has looked much stronger than the 2 Hebo performances that we've seen out of Genetics. So if you're going to run the Freya again, I'm all here for it. Maybe it's also just the nature of the composition around it, as you mentioned, the triple auto attacker plus a Fafnir, and then whether or not Scream used his ultimate for actual secure on objectives or just for team fight in general. Looked real strong here for the Titans. We jump into the picks and bans for game number 4. Now between the Titans and the Manticores. And for the first time this set, Trelly, we'll see the Titans taking that first pick selection. Have not seen the Manticores make its way through picks and bans at all today. I don't think that changes, even with the Manticores being on the opposite side. They will ban that one away alongside the Sun Wukong. The question is, can these drafts get even sillier, Trelly?
Well, I'm not going to ask that because I feel like they always can, but I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like, I could be proven wrong, and there definitely is more silliness to be provided. I just don't think we're going to unlock that here today.
No?
The name is Freya.
No, I was holding my breath. I was waiting to see what locked in. And no, that's just Freya.
Yeah,
That's
just Genetics pick.
just the best support available in the current meta. So that didn't surprise me.
Terra? Who cares?
Who's that?
Yamojo? What? Who? Yamo who?
Not Freya.
Ymir? Nah.
Yeah, none of the above. And
No
I
one.
think the
Not
Titans
Freya.
are happy with that one, considering the performance they just had. still on match point, by the way, are the Manticores. So they have, or sorry, the Titans are on match point, I should say. So in this case, they do have the ability to just shoot out. If they want to continue that performance, they have the ability to do so. All the while, Manticores lead off with Kleena and Geb. That's going to be interesting. Because Panatom goes from having a pop-off performance on the set. I mean, just hard carrying his team. And then this time on the call, he was a little quiet. Maybe he takes that Kleena. Maybe he gives it over to Final. Okay, we'll have to see as the draft continues.
Yeah, that was my ultimate question, is where does this Kleena land? Do we see it go to solo lane for Fino? Do we see it in the jungle for Panatom? Do we see Vote take another assassin over to the duo lane in the ADC role? Well, to be determined for the time being, alongside the Geb. I wonder what Barracuda's giggling about right now. He's had many emotions so far this set. His laughter is always the one where you really want to like tune in and see what's got this man so happy. What's got him laughing? Let's wait and see maybe what's been cooking up for the Titans in game number 4. Still digging into the bank time. Freya was their first lock-in, currently hovering Athena and Agni, which again, given history of the Titans, we saw the Hebo a couple games in a row, so unlikely that Athena would go over to Gen X. It was drafted in, and it's not. It's Serket and an Agni combined together. So mid and jungle, it seems, now locked in for the Titans.
It is very difficult because I wanna try and pry from my past knowledge about how picks and bans usually go, but so far this tournament has adhered to nothing that I've seen before, right? So it's kind of difficult to be like, oh yeah, this is indicating, a lot of pressure so far. But the Serket, Freya, Agni, all things considered, relatively tame so far. With the Manticores, though, been loving the Morgan for Dardes. I think that he's been having a great time on this pick whenever it's given to him, depending on what transformation he's able to go to. At the moment, Kleena and Serket are what I'm looking at, those assassins that are available. They're both fine, but I think in this case, you prefer a little bit more ease of finishing kills. Like the Susano comes to mind because you don't have to commit anything for that ultimate. It's so easy to break up the Dark Omen, whereas Serket really does have to commit a lot of her damage to try and finish those kills. Same with Kleena. Not easy to just proc with that ultimate because it's a little slow. You kind of have to read where your opponent's going as opposed to just put it on them. So we'll have to see what the rest of the Manticore's draft is and if Dardes can get some better transformations down the line after the second wave of bans.
Well, speaking of the second wave of bans, Thor, Shibalanke, Daji, and Gilgamesh banned away. And the Manticores will lock in Jing Wei for their next selection. So far, if everything is going where I would normally assume it to go, given what we've seen in most history of competitive Smite, likely still looking for either solo or jungle, depending most likely where this Kleena is going to end up landing. With the Morrigan, Jing Wei, Geb, feeling like they fall into kind of their standard spots, more so on the map. So now the question goes to the Titans as to what their final 2 picks will be. They got 2 mages. Freya, we saw go to support last game, so have to keep that as an open opportunity and possibility for the Titans. Serket over to the jungle could be one way that we also still see that selection go. Agni over towards mid does make sense. It's something that BMT has played many times in the past. It's worked out really well for him. But now, will we get all those answers with these final 2 picks by the Titans? The world is their oyster, and right now we're just living in this world.
That they with sword shall protect, or are they not going to protect it?
I don't know. I think it depends on how the game ends if they protected it or not. If they win, then they protected this world.
Okay, Tsukuyomi.
That doesn't answer.
And Medusa.
That
that
also
kind of answers it. Yeah, I mean, Freya, Medusa, duo lane.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
Let's just give Tings the Agni.
Okay.
And then whoever wants... I mean, Serket's just so much worse solo, so yeah, Haddix takes Tsukuyomi.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Yeah,
we reeled it in.
You got that. Yeah, you got this one. No, I like your logic on there. That seems to be what makes the most sense, given what Genetics has been wanting to play today. And the Susano drafted for the Manticores leads me to believe this Kleena will be going over to Final K and solo lane.
Yeah, my guess is Pat Tom said, give me Susano. I'm taking this 3-1, whether you guys like it or not, and we're done. Like that, I am bringing this tournament, this day of the tournament to an end. We've got 2 Susanos now. I mean, Dardes and Panatom should be able to combo pretty consistently throughout this game. Final K has been known to go to the cleaner from time to time. The sort of tank builds that he's been looking towards definitely not going to work on a Kleena, I would say. She's definitely kind of full bruiser or bust. I mean, full damage or bust. But still, I think that I like both of the drafts these teams have went for. I can't believe I just said I like the Freya, but if it's between the Freya and the Hebo, yeah, I like the Freya.
So for the Manticores, for them to be able to find a victory here in game number 4, what's kind of that time frame, kind of that curve for them? Is this one that they can kind of coast and wait till the late game and they're just fine? Is this one that they want to get online a little bit sooner than the Titans in order to find victory? Where's kind of that power point here for the Manticores?
It does really seem like the Manticores will succeed as the game continues. Their late game is looking good. Remember, this Freya, assuming that it's genetics going support, as his usual support build, is not going to have that crazy scaling that a full carry Freya would have. So it's not like, hey, we need to get our Medusa and our Freya online, and they're just going to hard carry the game away. It seems like more, let's CC for the Agni, for the Medusa, for the Tsukuyomi, things like that. So with that being said, I think the Morgan, the Susano, the Kleena as well. You always have a Jingwei in the back just to provide good safe damage. I don't think the Manticores mind this one going a little bit later.
And so for the Titans, maybe one that they'd want to win, maybe similar fashion what they did in game 3 was at 22 minutes, our fastest game of the weekend so far. One of our fastest games that we've had in competitive in a while. I mean, digging back towards Masters, even into the SEC gauntlets that we had, rarely did we have games ending before usually that 25 to kind of 30-minute barrier. So really setting the pace in that third game were the Titans. But now if they want to win, maybe something they got to do again. Do you think there's a composition the Titans have to be able to push themselves to a potential game 5?
I mean, they've got a ton of CC early on. I always do like seeing the Circuit when we're talking about early aggression. The Freya Medusa lane, I assume, is going to have some great clear once they get some levels into those abilities. So, yeah, I think the Titans have the ability to get active early on, surely. Just does depend on, again, where this Geb's playing. Is that Stone Shield going to become a bit of an issue? Things like that. All could put a thwart on some of that early aggression that the Titans might be looking for.
So for the Titans, maybe get active a little bit sooner on Manticores. They can maybe weather the storm, kind of coast by a little bit, get themselves to a late game. Could look really strong for themselves as they kind of push towards this late game, see if they can stop Genetics in his tracks on the Freya. It was a great game number 3 from him. We'll see if the Titans can repeat their performance in game number 4. Are we going to see a game 5, or does it all end here? Let's throw it over to the casters.
We'll find out if the Titans have what it takes to push us to 5. Or like you said, J-Mac, if it'll end here. It's Gore, it's Myth, and of course, joining us and showing us the view into the battleground. It's Doug. And Mifflin, I know a lot of people caught Bera's camera. He's smiling right now. But chat, I don't know if this is wishful thinking or truthful thinking. Voting in favor of the Manticores, 68-32. And you know, Mifflin, they do have a relatively standard draft.
They do, but it's been non-standard execution, Gore. So that's where I'm really putting my eyes. And when let's be completely honest. Let's bare our souls to the universe here. Is Awesome Jake 408 a Geb player? I don't think so. I see you racking your brain.
I don't know.
Man, you went deep in your mind palace.
I don't know if he had done it.
Yeah, when I think of Jake, I'm thinking Chronos Pendant and W key.
Yeah, immediately, like even when I started
no, it's okay.
deep,
We're good. He's going for it. We're good. He's got it.
Oh yeah, okay. So he's still gonna Chronos Pendant W key.
Yeah, so it's just
a different guy.
Can he do it on Geb? It's got to be better than Freya support, surely. But it's kind of like standard drafts across the board. Genetics is the only guy who's on like a really weird pick. I mean, Circuit solo isn't normal, but by today's standard, it kind of is.
Yeah. Final K is definitely on par. We've seen Kleena solo plenty of times. Mifflin, I'm just going to be watching for first blood. It feels like the duo lane right now. Pretty aggressive from Genetics and Bera, for better or worse. The damage maybe isn't there in the lasting. They are putting pressure on where they can find it. And, you got to give credit where credit's due. Genetics on the Freya support looked great, like Haddix does right now, and Bera does not right now. First blood over to Vote with an auto. Finds a kill that the team maybe needed after the last game.
Yeah, it looked to me like he just missed that dash just barely. If it connects, I'm not certain it's going to kill anybody, but it would have been much closer than it was. Maybe it doesn't put you as far out of position. Fine, okay. Force to use those beads. Dashes through the call traps with the auto attack afterward. Just off the mark. Genetics, though, on the chopping block. No pull from Panatom and peel from Barracuda. Just enough to get him out of there. But it is the Manticores who strike first, and you're right, Gore. It's the duo lane.
Immediately, I'm honestly maybe a little surprised. I thought it was going to be Bear on Genetics since they were putting on the pressure. But sometimes the pressure applied, Mifflin, it's too much, and you collapse under it. Maybe that's a metaphor for something. But in this case, it's just first blood. Oh, maybe it's just like how it is.
Yeah, that's just like a truth you're sharing.
Well, no, like it could be like a metaphor for like life.
Yeah.
Right?
What's the allegory of the cave?
The allegory of the cave.
Yeah, Plato's cave. I don't know why that came to my mind.
I'd have to Google it if I'm honest with you. I guess I'm not well read enough. Ask me a science fiction question. The Van Man 09, by the way, with a nice dub on the.
Yeah, where was Gulliver traveling to? Is that it?
Gulliver's Travels. Didn't he get like kidnapped by people that were an inch tall or something? Haddix kidnapped in lane kill-wise by the Manticores.
No, try that again.
Haddix died to a gank. What am I supposed to try again? What was the reason?
Jake's in some trouble, pushes them away. What's going on? Dies to wave. Genetics. Credit for the kill this time. Barracuda just hiding in the jungle. Vote in sheer fear. Drops his beads at a distance.
I'm still trying to figure out why I had to redo.
Kidnapped the kill.
Yeah.
We had to run that back. You know why. Oh, Haddix by tower.
Okay, didn't even get damage on him.
Yeah, he was busy.
Episode of Forensic Files. That's what the follow-up to my call is.
What?
Forensic Files is like it's how like there's a lot of true crime podcasts.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, it was like that, but before that, it was just like a TV show that did the true crime stuff.
Oh, you're talking about Scully and Murdoch. I love those guys.
Oh my god.
Murdoch and Scully? Is it the other way?
You're okay, man. Mulder and Scully.
Who's Murdoch?
I don't know who Murdoch is. Also, that's the X-File.
He's an X-Man.
Murdoch?
I think so.
I think like.
Isn't he like the toddler in the chair that floats? He's like a big head.
No, like isn't there a dude named Murdoch? I don't know, man.
I think you're wrong.
Isn't Daredevil's last name Murdoch? Look, my mom and my older sister loved X-Files, so I know at least that part I'm right on. It was David Duchovny, great actor. Also, great movie if you ever want to watch one, is a 2001 movie called Evolution. Very funny.
2001's A Space Odyssey.
This is true.
I'm just playing a word association game. It's almost 8 p.m.
Yeah, I think you're allowed to. There's a pull on the
Haddix got this.
Haddix with a toss back. Damage good. Panatom kill. Manticore's up 3-1.
You kind of broke it down. Leave some analysis for me,
Oh,
Gore.
sorry, man.
Let me cook a little bit, bro. God.
Now he's over here talking about X-Files.
I can't get a word in edgewise. I'm trying to talk about the game. You're saying it all.
I mean, because there's so much to break down, as we did last game.
Yeah. Hindu left the studio an hour and a half ago, so who's going to hold me accountable?
And he looked at us specifically and said goodbye. And maybe it was a kindness thing.
Maybe.
Maybe he was flaunting.
Break down this 1v1.
Autos, left and right. You have to think Medusa passive helps Barracuda out. And they just give up. Boring.
Whoa, triple
Unfortunately,
stun.
not boring. Is the massive stun over here and left pull back kill on the Scream for Dardes. The Manticores find a fourth.
I wonder if Big Man Tings pops Claw Shard there and dashes aggressively if he just straight up gets a triple kill. I guess we'll never know. Quick, Flare Boot and or Hazer, you nerds. Go ahead and do the math and tell me if that would have been a kill.
And if you don't, it sounds like he's going to shove you in a locker.
Honestly, I will. And I expect my science homework done tonight. Man, if there are no diehard Smite fans watching right now, they're like, who's Phaser? Who's player, who's player boot?
Every single person watching is just like, why aren't the casters just casting the game in this SPL?
I mean, kinda. It is.
You know what? They're probably asking that anyway, and I'm sorry, guys.
Man, Roster Apocalypse hit different this year.
Yo, it's crazy. I thought they were limiting it to just 2.
We have a limit?
Yeah, because we didn't want what happened to the Scarabs to happen again.
Ah, the Scarabs did get owned.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Owned so hard. What happened to their brand? It's, like, gone now.
Yeah, what's interesting is I believe... Barra just does he have the Bolts Global EMA? I guess that makes sense.
And he's a world champion.
And he's a world champion. Flaunting it even. But, okay, let's ask some real hard-hitting questions. It's been...
No time. Talk about Panatom.
Well, Panatom, yeah, pulling Scream back into a fight, has to dash away to play it safe.
Oh, he's dead.
But there is the Valkyrie's discretion, and the piercing Moonlight finds the kill. Unfortunately for Scream, also puts him into a bad spot. It's going to be 2 return kills right now for the Manticores. 6-1, chase down, shield good, keeps Jake alive, and helps find the damage necessary to kill off Barra. But here comes Tings, and 1 auto for Vote is all that separated him between himself and a triple kill. He got it. 4-0-1 for the Jingwei, and an 8-3 lead for the Manticores.
Wow, when did that happen? What? That's so...
Which part? The 3 or the 8?
Yeah. Last time I looked up, it was 3-1, I think.
Yeah, well, Vote just got a triple.
That's
so that's
3 of them,
3.
so that's 6. Where's the other 2?
Well, there was kill in mid.
Oh, and
kill in solo.
Yep.
And then I think a couple
No,
other
that's
kills.
the other 2. You got it.
Haddox is dead 3 times, man. He's 0-3-0.
Surely not.
Well, no, I can see it.
It's probably it.
I'm reading.
Genetics is...
He's fine.
He doesn't have ult.
Yeah, but he's fine.
Yeah, he's got a team.
And watch, they might even turn this around onto Jake. If the stun connects, there's the Cataclysm, fire burn, and it burned good on Snow. Kill Jake good. Oh, and now Haddox is going for the chase down. Maybe looking for an ult. Grabs, throws back Dardes. There's going to be a stun follow-up from Tings.
Good God.
Playing a signature Agni, and now just looking for an execution. All of them gone. 3 in a row.
Vote's got it.
Vote dashes forward.
Whoa. Vote's got
Goes
it.
up into the air. Comes crashing down. Gets 1 kill. Set up for a little bit more. And
One
is looking
more.
for him. The autos are there. Fine. Okay, finds the second, but Vote does go down. Fine. And Jake here to chase things forward. No blink for the Geb, but the knock-up, the body blocks, and the capability for the Manticores. Now 11-7 for their lead.
Man, that is such a key example of how important bounties are in Smite right now. Haddox was super behind. 0-3. I think it was about a 2, maybe approaching 3 level deficit. Grabs the kill on the Vote. You can see the uptick on the chart right there. And it's immediately answered, of course, by Final K's rotation as well. But that is exactly what Haddox needed to stay relevant in this match. Both teams firing on all cylinders. 18 kills. That's 2 a minute.
Barrett's in a little bit of trouble. Dashes away.
He's probably okay.
Yeah, no blink from Jake.
Jake might be dead.
And then Jake, yeah, quickly getting surrounded by several.
Is he
Goes for the
maxing
kill.
that?
And you have to imagine that's a high-level rollout. Get those kills. Knock up, good from the shockwave. And he's going to taunt, because he's a Geb, and he just killed your carry.
Fire burned good on the snow.
You know, in my brain, like, because, like, fire melts snow, but then the words didn't do that.
I'm glad. I'm maybe glad it's not what you intended, but I'm glad it happened. For sure. Big
That
Man
should go in
Tiggs,
the reel, huh?
He's dashing on waves because Dardes is in trouble. Of course, why wouldn't it be Dardes in trouble? In his own tower, nowhere safe. We only hit 1?
And it didn't do enough. As of right now, the knock up, the CC, and Panatom walks away. Embarrassing for Scream.
You think Scream's capable of feeling oh, that's embarrassing. You think Scream's capable of feeling embarrassment?
Probably not.
No,
If anything,
that guy's
honestly,
got
after
no
that,
shame.
he's just like, yo, wait, why didn't you guys go in with me?
Bro, where was the CC, fellas?
He literally tweeted after game 2 about genetics. He said the same thing to us.
The
and
world
then put it
champion
on,
MVP, yep.
onto the internet. And you can follow that. Again, for anyone who's curious, Scream's Twitter handle isn't Scream, because that would make too much sense. It's Verizial, which is the name he used to go
Ooh,
by.
Panatom. Nice.
Whereas now Panatom's just bullying Barra.
Oh.
And bullying Barra finds bounties when you hit your autos.
Oh my
but he's not gonna
God.
do it. Jeez, too many rotations of abilities. But they find the kill, Mifflin.
They sure do, but Barracuda did not make them look good doing it, right?
No.
It's not often the guy who dies looks like the best player in that engagement, but it's Barracuda this time. Jake, Cataclysm slightly off the mark because Genetics has got wings. No Red Bull this time, doesn't need it. Valkyrie's discretion, the only thing, and more than one Tix connects from Scream should be enough to take out the Gab. It isn't.
Now the knock-up CC chain, good from Panatom. Screams low, and they let the tick damage burn him down.
Vote legacy game here.
All right, 5-1-4. Able to come in. Fine, okay. Dardes just right into the waiting arms of the players. A leap for a disengage and an easy set of
Good
kills.
Lord.
Sparrow, welcome back to lane, buddy. 4 gone. And that's the conclusion of the fight. Manticores 18-9, double the kills and pick up a Fury after.
You sure? Genetics has got some fight left in him. I don't know. There's something. It's something wily in his eyes.
This is the standing up. I didn't hear no bell. Like he is ready to go. He might just go for it. Oof, Gold Fury goes away in the Manticores.
He gets Jake though.
Surely you got to kill him here. Jake goes for the Cataclysm. No way is Jake trying to fight this.
You're not serious.
He shields himself. He uses
Be
the
real,
rollout.
man.
The whoop misses, and Jake gets out alive.
Okay. I'm starting to hear the bell, Core. That's 7,000 gold.
Yo, but they're getting the beacon, bro.
The beacon?
This ain't even close anymore.
And if you think about it, like, what would the monetary value of 5% structure damage and 1% movement speed be? Like, what would you be willing to pay gold-wise to get that permanently?
Yeah, like if that was, well, like, yeah, imagine it was an item.
300?
Yeah, well,
300 a person?
300 a person?
So it's like 300 times 5? 1,500, I think?
So you would say that it's equal to like a Fury.
Ooh.
I feel like you pay a little more. Items are kind of expensive.
Yeah, I don't...
If that was like an item, you're probably paying like 2,300 total for per person.
For 5 structure damage and 1 movement speed, you
if
pay
that was-
2,300
no,
gold?
no, but like I'm imagining if that's like on a tier 3, you got to pay to get to the tier 3.
Well, no, I
maybe
would.
that's
That'd be
tier
like a tier 1.
Oh, you're right, because tier 3 is 15% and 3%.
Yeah, you got to get all 3 for that.
Okay, so then yeah, it's like 800, well, 600.
Is Stygian Beacon like better than I think it is? Because I'm like legitimately, that's a fun mental exercise. Talk about the fight. It's okay.
All right, now Haddix dashes away. Maybe some return damage. Fine, okay, on the side. Tries to find a loop around. Tings is doing his best to stay alive. Drops some bombs. Gets some burn out there. Finds damage, but does not live long enough to get the kill. Instead, it's a trade out. Fine, okay, for Tings. Barra, low under tower. Whoop, good from Genetics. Jake is looking for kills. Unable to find Scream, but Vote might be going for something. Genetics loses the pulse
It's a good
just
Aegis.
before he can find the last bit of damage. Comes back in time to get a little bit more. There's the whoop. There's the chase down onto Dardes.
Oh.
Scream still here, but guess what? So is Panatom. 3 for 3 on these teams, and Jake does not seem done.
Does he have blink? He
Panatom.
does.
They're going to blink over. Goes
Whiff.
for it. Whoop is good
Whiff.
from Genetics. The damage, not there. Cataclysm onto 2, though, keeps this fight going, and Jake's going to pick up a 4th, give his team a small lead in this fight. But now, maybe trading it
the
back out.
shield.
Genetics pulls the shield, good. The pull, great. And they're going to find all 5 on one side, 4 for the other, and enough time for Fine OK to respawn into the game.
We're still over the 2 kill a minute mark. We're at 36 total, 15 minutes in. How many Furies have died? Just one?
Just the one. Yeah. And the one Pyro, and the one Beacon.
When did a Pyro go down?
I don't know, but it's on the graphic.
Yeah, and it's not on the
I
map,
don't remember it.
It was the Manticores that got it, for sure. Runic Bomb for Vote. What is ADC's fixation with picking up the Runic Bomb? They're like
Yeah,
the
you
only
actually
guy I
hate this.
don't want to have the runic bomb. Them and the mid laners. Stop touching the runic bomb. You got to put yourself in range of things, melee range of things, to use the runic bomb. Don't do it. What are you using it for? Self-peel? It's not even that good for that.
Yeah, well, and look, in your mind as a carry, you're just winning so hard, you can drop it for free. No one's gonna step up to you.
Yeah,
You're
if
the
I'm
carry.
sieging, like, they're losing, obviously.
Yeah,
so.
obviously.
No, I'm with it now. You're right. Vote.
Yeah,
These
just be
guys are
better.
so smart.
Duh. Like, if you're just winning, like they're losing, that means you can place bomb.
Okay.
Do good.
I hadn't even considered the nuanced discussion that you've presented me here. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sold.
Whew. Where do I? Let's reroute ourselves in some real analysis for a moment.
Oh, yeah, for real?
There's not a whole lot to break down. Experience. Yeah, that's Manticores, gold Manticores. Wards on map. That
Manticores.
Manticore. Yeah. Okay.
A lot of red.
You know, I used to say
Wards
that
in
18
inventory?
minutes
Manticore.
was like the magical fire giant time, but feels like
Yeah.
that's been pushed back a bit.
Fire Giant's hard to kill at 18 minutes nowadays. Although Manticores have been doing it.
Every game.
Sorry, Titans have been doing it
every game. Yeah.
They might go for it here if they
Ooh.
don't lose Haddix. What a great whoop. And unfortunately, no follow-up for Haddix to get away. Scream, Tings, Genetics, all just kind of around. Beads even used here. That's going to be Panatom's go button. Goes for the knock-up, finds
And
it.
the
A
Aegis.
gets used. You don't even need to chase that anymore. That's a beautiful pickup for the Manticores in terms of getting rid of relics.
Surely it's just a fire giant, but genetics. And I haven't heard a bell. Like, you keep talking about this bell. I've never heard it.
Yeah, and so far, hasn't rung. He's not gotten knocked down. Fire Giant started up. It's been around 18 minutes, 2 games in a row, but it's been the Titans that have been controlling it. Now it's going to be Genetics. Goes in. Manticores get the FG.
That's unlucky.
And Genetics doesn't get anything, not even a death from that. Might find some kills with help from his team. Scream goes in. Aegis from Vinoke chased down. Haddix leading the way. And it's going to be a clean kill from Tings to pick it up. Stun, root, lockdown onto Vote. Aegis works its wonders, but only for a little bit there. Easy kill pickup. Now the chase is on Haddix. Does a little too far. Tings relatively low. Barra maybe biting off more than he can chew. Overstay their welcome are the Titans. The Manticores lose 2. Get the fire.
Genetics
Maybe
now
find
on the
more.
chopping block. Panatom's going to have his mobility soon. There it is. Closes gap. Pool is not connected once this game. Why start? Don't need it, though. We use it for the damage. And Jake also going for a bit of damage here. Connects the stun. Knock up on the tail end. And it's Dardes this time who knocks down the 5Ms. Big man Tings was in an epic battle against the Reb buff. Lost that fight, but was able to retreat. And instead, grabs an even more valuable thing. Stygian Beacon. That's 600 gold, I guess.
Something like that.
Someone smarter than me is certainly associated a monetary value. Chat, get at it. Get at it in the chat. We've got producers watching. What would you pay for a Stygian Beacon?
If it was an item. And would you limit it? No, everybody. Everybody gets it.
Because we say Fire Giant's like 10,000 gold, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we say it.
Yeah, everybody says that.
Yeah.
And it's been universally agreed.
The more you say it, the more true it becomes. Honestly.
That's most things, by the way.
Yeah.
If you can trick at
I
least
thought you were
one
going to
other
say
person.
that's like gaslighting.
No, if you could trick one other person into believing you, and they trick one person, and so on, that is how truth exists, right?
Yeah.
I think that was Dan Rather. It's like post-truth. It's like an actual concept.
Yeah, I suppose so, huh?
Yep.
It's almost 10,000 gold separating these teams after the Oni Fury. We should start talking about that amount of gold in the pockets of the Manticores. Point for the set. It's 2-1. In this best of 5. They win. You'll have 5 captains listed on the right side of your screen.
Similar to the amount of M's in Scream's name.
Yeah, as there are captains that on an individual team that wins for going tomorrow. Actually, as there are captains already waiting tomorrow. Double it and you'll get what we're left with. Tower, get a little bit of pressure. Cataclysm connects on to Scream. Throws the Caltrops down. Tower's going to go away. Para in a bad spot, chases on, but the dash is good. Ooh, and almost with the Typhoon. Not quite enough to find that kill. Panatom, Dardes, both falling back alongside their
Dardes.
team, but Dardes
So
finds a
sneaky.
huge stun onto Tings, and there's a beautiful rotation vote into the back vote with the beautiful autos, finds the shots necessary, picks up one. Might find a second here. There's the double, continuing the chase and continuing, as you called it, a potential legacy game. 8, 3, and 10.
Is that game?
This team's going to start marching down. They've got 3 gone for 30. And another gone for 40. 1 left standing. It's Bara.
Is that
Who's
game?
in left? Phoenix is going to go down. Fire on 2. I don't know. That
They're
going
gonna
to
try. It might not be game, but they're gonna try.
And they're going to march in to the Titan room. March in to try and win this set and end this day. The Titan
Here comes
V4. Bara alive and back.
Freebeats.
Starts up some damage. Finds a kill onto Jake and dashes forward with the Titan. It just takes too much, and there's no defense. The Manticores, Mifflin, they finally move forward.
In perhaps the most convincing game of the weekend so far. 33 and what, 22?
Yeah.
That's record pace.
It's a lot of kills.
That's real good.
And I want them to give me more of that tomorrow. Keep the record pace going when you make it now into the finals for the Manticores. Again, guaranteeing the 2, I guess, captains that exist now fighting for
Just which pick you have.
Which pick you have, first or second, as it comes to tomorrow. And that's not going to be the end of the Titans either. We'll see them in the morning as they play a best of 3 up against the Juggernauts, who lost a little earlier today. So not the end of the road for them, and instead we can celebrate victory from the Manticores. Maybe more decisive than what we saw in set 1, simply because it was 1 less game to get to the finals. Tomorrow they get to try and showcase if they are deserving of like the best in role to be the one who dictates everything. For the role stars, whether they're the ones who deserve their own wins. Mifflin, the future for them. It's looking bright.
Gore, can I ask you a favor?
Yeah.
Cool if I throw to desk?
You can go for it.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the desk.
That's right. The Manticores went out in game number 4 in quick fashion. Another 22-minute game, but this time it's the Manticores getting victory with this one. But also, as mentioned, like 30-some-odd kills, like over 50 games total in that time. One of our fastest and bloodiest games that we have had so far this weekend. We still have another day to go. But if the Manticores winning, that means that they'll move on to face off against the Minotaurs tomorrow in a best of 5. That'll be our second set of the day. Our first one will be the Titans versus the Juggernauts, as mentioned. J-Mac and Trelly here to help break down game number 4, but I don't feel like there's too much to break down besides it was an immense amount of fighting across the map, and it was mostly the Manticores coming up on top.
As far as I'm concerned, what I said in Picks and Bans still stands. Panatom said, get me Susanoo, we're not going to 5.
And they didn't.
And then he did it. Like, he just did it to him. Like, I'm not going to say it was all Panatom. It was just a lot of Panatom, I think. You know, Dardes had some good damage. Final K was positioning well. Awesome Jake was cleaning up some kills on the Geb, and those stone shields were clutch. Even Vote, I believe, popped off during one of those fights that we got a triple kill. So it wasn't as if it was just Panatom. Oh, those are the triple kill. But my point is, it seemed to me like Panatom said, you know what, I'm taking this fight into my hands. And with that being said, he did it to him. He really did. It was enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, Vote picking up the triple in this fight, picking up a few more kills a little bit later on. And as mentioned, teaming up along with Panatom throughout that one to find some very high kill counts for this game and really just for the entirety of our day. I mean, we've had some games that were going 40+ minutes, not even seeing as many kills as we saw here in this one. Awesome Jake finding the solo kill up against Barracuda and then realizing, well, I'm dead here. I'm just going to have a little bit of fun, laugh and taunt on the Geb. But it had a great amount of setups that he was able to get for a team. Kind of just walk up, hover around. Okay, team's here. Here's Cataclysm. Let me get around you to body block. Here's the knockup. And the rest of my team after. A great performance by the Manticores here in Game 4.
I wonder if Jake's always a one-maxer. You know? I can't imagine it's always the play. Like at times, yeah, maybe we will ask him because I'm genuinely curious if it was just this matchup or if he always is a one-maxer on the Geb. I'll have to figure it out later on, but it's definitely enjoyable to watch at the very least. And I loved the second the Susanoo locked in. I could tell Pantom's mindset. He was like, boys, we're not going to 5. Like I am going to make sure of that. And they said, all right, you know, Dardez was able to turn to a second Susano, of course, and I think Vote getting online very early for the Jingwei definitely helped out trying to speed up the pacing of that one.
Yeah, it said, boys, it's 7:30 and we still have at least this game to play. We're stopping it here. We're not letting this one go to a 5th, and the Manticores did just that. They were able to find themselves winning game number 4, get themselves the victory for the set, and move on to the finals for the next day of play, where they will face off against the Minotaurs. But we do have one of the Manticores standing by for our post-game interview. It's Jake standing by with Gore.
That's right. I've got Jake here, and I'm going to steal a question from the desk first and foremost, but I'm going to add a little spin to it myself, which is we don't typically associate with you with Geb, and then on top of that, we don't typically see rollout maxed first. So, like, what spin on Geb are you bringing?
Let me just say the last time I played Geb, I fed so hard that my team wanted to find me. So it's been a while, but you know, I just really love rolling around and shielding people. It's a lot of fun, and you know, this is like a fun tournament. So you know, just works.
You were just playing to the theme of what's going on around you, right? Just making sure you enjoy it. You're going into now as a captain for a support team, whether you're going to be first or second pick going into Roll Stars. So how does it feel to know that you control the fate of others?
Feels good, you know. I'm going to draft a really good team here. There's a lot of supports that I'm sure they're really good at off-rolling, and I know who they are, and they're going to be picked up.
Now, and you know, when we had talked about it earlier, there's a couple of players who are like, I already know who I'm going to first pick. Do you have a preference between first pick and second pick, or do you just know that your team's going to be that much better than everybody else anyway?
So wait, Haruin's the other captain, right? Yeah, I just think whatever side I get, you know, maybe this is like a good first round pick. I mean, there's a lot of good supports, you know, so like I'm sure I'll get a good team.
I'm sure you will too. I have to ask because it's the last question for you. Game 3. What goes wrong?
I locked in solo support. I was like, you know what? Game 3 is something to have fun. And yeah, you know, just having fun. Just I don't know. Just I did not have fun that game. I regretted it. So yeah.
It didn't fit the fun vibes that you were going for with the Gep.
No, not at all. Like I don't know.
Well, hey man, you still won. You still go to the finals. So congratulations on the win. Thanks for your time. We'll go back to the desk to close out the day.
I like how he mentions it. You know, we have a duality of Geb for Jake now. It's he plays really good. He sets up for his team. He looks like one of the best supports on the map. And then I played so bad, my entire team wants to fight me, Geb. And I'm willing to believe there's now no in between. It's either he is the star player on the team, or he is the one that is costing his team a victory with that. But we do have a bracket to help you kind of visualize the remainder of our weekend and what's been going on today. We had a 5-game set between the Minotaurs and the Juggernauts. The Minotaurs went out on that. The Manticores found a 3-1 win over the Titans. And so now it'll be the Minotaurs and the Manticores. And I know I'm going to mess that up tomorrow at some point. I've already nearly done it a couple of times today. And that'll be our grand finals in our second match tomorrow. Our first one will be down in the losers bracket, our third place match. Juggernauts and Titans facing off in just a best of 3. Won't be best of 5 for them. Best of 3 to start the day. Then it'll be our best of 5 between the Minotaurs and the Manticores. I legitimately thought I messed it up as I was saying it, and my brain had to process whether I spoke it correctly. But then, as a reminder, after both of those matches are concluded, and we know who our first seed and our second seed teams are, we already know who all of our captains are going to be for Roll Stars. After both the sets are completed, then we'll have our draft for Roll Stars about 5 to 10 minutes after that's done, so the broadcast won't quite end. It'll go to another break after that, and then we'll draft for Roll Stars, and then all of that will kick off on Thursday. But before we get to the drafting, we have to see who's going to be your number 1 seed, who's going to be your first pick captains for all of the designated roles moving into the Roll Stars. Should be still a very fun day tomorrow. And Charlie, thank you for joining me here on the desk, and thank you all for watching in. Make sure that you tune in again tomorrow, though, at 11 a.m. here on twitch.tv/SMITE. On behalf of myself, Charlie Casters, everyone on the team, thank you for watching, and we'll see you for day 2.